Hi guys, this is Jean Holden, producer of the show, and I just wanted to take a minute to let you know where you can find us on the internet. Please go to ThatMan on Fatman.com. There you can find out all the things you need to know about the show. You'll be able to find links to the podcast, to YouTube, to Twitter, Facebook, even Instagram and Snapchat. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Today's show is brought to you by Death Wish Coffee. Death Wish Coffee, the strongest coffee in the world.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of ThatMan, and I want to urge you to make a generous donation to the Wayne Foundation so we can stop the sexual trafficking of children. Do it, or I'll find you.
And don't forget to check out our good friend of the show, Mark Live, over at chundertunes.com for all your podcast animation needs. ThatMan on Fatman is recorded with a Zoom H6 handy recorder. Zoom. For creators.
Disclaimer. The show you're about to experience is for entertainment purposes only. The hosts use mature language and conversation just like in most of life. If you're too uptight, this might not be for you. All that said, we really do hope you enjoy the show. But if you don't enjoy it, expect a nice big shipment of my joyous Joker juice on your doorstep in the very near future. Toodles!
As the world's biggest Kevin Smith fan, I appreciate the fact that somebody finally made a podcast about that interesting motherfucker. So, yes, you absolutely did the right thing. It was smart. I appreciate it. I think you were right to do that.
Okay, what has two thumbs and is a huge fan of Kevin Smith? ThatMan!
Yes, I am that man. The juggernaut of a podcast.
We need a costumed vigilante is what we need. Justice can't be served unless it's being fought outside the system.
Here's what we're going to do, eh?
Oh, shit. It's ThatMan. Who is he? He's ThatMan. He's talking. Go get him, ThatMan.
Well, once upon a time, a regular man read a book written by the Fat Man. Tough shit, written by old Kev Smith. Kev said go out and start a podcast, and so I did, and I had a real blast. But my obsession was driving my co-host nuts. Didn't want to bring the podcast down. Needed Porkchop Murphy to hang around. So I created a new show with one heck of a plan, and I'd call that show ThatMan on Fatman, because we're going to chat about Kevin Smith. That's right, let's talk about old Kev Smith.
Yes, please note that use of all sound effects is done ironically.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this, Season 3, Episode 33. That's right, 3-33 of ThatMan on Fatman. My name is Scott Holden. I'm your host. Sitting with me here in the That Cave is none other than my co-host and producer extraordinaire, Jean Holden. Yay!
Hi, guys.
That was my Kermit. And today is a very big show because we have, as our guest, someone we've been, I guess, kind of stalking or whatever you want to call it, trying to get a hold of, trying to get on the show since the beginning. But finally, it seems as though he was checking his messages, and realized, oh wow, I have these messages from some wacky people,
random girl from 2014.
Who does a show called ThatMan on Fatman and wants to have me on.
And it was really sweet because he said, I'm sorry, I didn't realize the other messages, and it was really sweet. So, yep, so, finally happened.
So yes, that will be the host segment of the show.
That's awesome.
Which, I mean, this is interesting because usually we don't do this. Usually we wait until we have the guest segment in the can.
Right.
Before we record, but we want to get the show out tonight, right after our interview. So we're putting as much of this together as possible up front. So we have not actually interviewed Mr. Fehrman yet, but I am super looking forward to it. from the first time we saw Clerks II, I always felt like I knew that Elias character. I knew, such a strong performance of a type of person that so many people know.
So many people know.
That weird sort of geeky or nerdy kind of, weird.
Like innocent.
Yeah. He's
lovable and just very.
And it's not a secret to anyone on this show that I very frequently claim Clerks II is one of my favorite Kevin Smith films.
Yeah, it's great.
So, this is going to be a big...
Trevor's brilliant as Elias.
A big thrill.
And he's very convincing.
I also, as a show note, I want to send out an apology to Matthew Postwaite, who played Walter in Shooting Clerks. Yes. Because he was, as just like circumstances the way they were, he was in town, he was in New York, and then like I hadn't followed up with him, and I sent him a Facebook message saying, "How's New York?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm flying out tonight." And then we tried to coordinate meeting at I guess we didn't even get that far. Meeting for coffee in the airport.
At the airport, and we just couldn't get there.
Yeah, our daughter needed to go somewhere, and everything got crazy. And but big shout out to Mr. Postwaite. I'm so sorry that...
I'm so sorry, and you were so brilliant as Walter.
Yeah,
I can't wait to meet you.
As we said, there was an innocence to your performance that is just sweet and endearing.
Sweet and adorable, and you did such a great job. And just that, I love that scene when he comes into the video store and as Kevin, you need any help with the movie? Like, I love that because he's so eager to help and just loves being around him. It's just great.
And one other thing, I don't really need to apologize per se. I've talked to most of the parties involved, but Thursday night's dinner, folks, we are so sorry. Those who know what,
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I just want to throw that out there because, we've already explained ourselves.
And
everybody's cool, but geez, I felt awful about that in retrospect.
And things will be.
We don't need to fucking go into details, but I'm sure anyone who's in the Shooting Clerks crew
knows
will appreciate.
And
that was such a confusion and a clusterfuck, and something that was like never would have happened if things had been different. And because we'd never do something like that.
No.
So.
But things will get straight very soon, so we're fine.
Anyway.
And we love you guys.
Shout out to what's his name? Jay Booten. Who?
What's his name?
Yeah, who posted some pictures.
Oh, awesome!
Because he got his meeting with the guy
he hang out with Dave Klein.
Yeah, he got to hang out with Dave Klein.
How cool!
Yeah, it was really cool. Dave Klein is like, I guess it's so obvious that when you're a celebrity and you start to take a lot of pictures with people, you affect a face.
Yeah,
like Kevin does it. Dave Klein definitely does it. Same faces in our
he's
shot.
Very straight.
It's like this.
Yeah,
like
he's very.
I want to say evil face, but not. You know what I mean? Like a sinister face.
Well, and the thing is, the guy has a sense of humor, but he's just playing it back a little bit.
Yeah. He definitely has. Or you could see him putting on a prickliness.
Oh yeah,
that could push you right off.
An affect.
And here's the funny thing: last night, just as a goof, we came home late. We were hanging out, and I threw on Vulgar just because I wanted to see Kevin's little scene where it's like he's doing Ben, but through the course of it, I ended up watching like the scene where Kevin's in bed with Dave Klein.
God, it's his lover.
So you forget all that shit.
I forgot about that.
So funny.
And I will say,
and again, Scott Schiaffo, like we were breezing through. It was like a needle drop. I was just trying to see where we were.
Right.
And it's Scott Schiaffo going, as the bad guy.
And
I have to stop and watch because he's fucking commanding.
He's so good.
He really is in that.
And Brian O'Halloran is amazing.
Again, I go
underrated.
Back. I know. I don't need any credit. I'm just saying. I'm just floating this out there. If there's going to be a Vulgar 2, you really could build it on the back of that Scott Schiaffo character. It really could.
I know.
So if someone out there who's thinking of writing it, Brian Johnson, needs a seed, please do that, man. Because sometimes all you need is that starting seed, and you can write up a fucking storm.
Scott Schiaffo nailed that character.
Yeah, all the more reason. Because Scott's a good guy. You know,
he brings it.
He fucking brings it as Kevin's dad.
He totally does. He puts his
he's
all
the silent.
into it.
He's the fucking silent Bob. He's the Yoda. He's the wise sage. When he says something, it means something.
Yep.
And he did it very well.
He's the quiet man.
He was so thrilled at those shows.
Oh my God.
And also thank you to the folks who hosted the Sunday night screening.
I know, that was great.
I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he's a really cool guy.
The guy from the Asbury Park Shorts Fest.
Yeah. Dude,
where are my shorts?
We had such a good time. Thank you for letting us be a part of that.
Yeah, I'm sorry I mess up the names of things. Okay.
Yes. All right, well, why don't we jump into the Smedlines?
And now, direct from the That Cave, we give you the Smedlines with Gene Holden.
Hi, everybody. This is Jean with this week's Smedlines. Well, this week is the week Kevin's Flash episode premieres this Tuesday, November 22nd. Awesome, because holiday's coming up, a long weekend. You get to watch it. Now, really cool. I didn't realize this. Greg Grunberg is going to have a recurring role.
You mean Geeking Out's Greg Grunberg?
Yes.
What a surprise that is.
I know. How did that ever happen?
It's funny because I do believe that it was mentioned on the latest issue of our episode of Blowhard.
I do. So. Now, the role will begin Kevin's first episode this Tuesday. Greg plays Tom Patterson, who is a part of the Central City Police Department. And he's very, good guy, trying to get everything back together and, helping, fight for, the
Flash way.
Fight for good.
Essentially, he's going to be his lieutenant, fucking, God. Oh, my God. How am I drawing a blank on this? Commissioner Gordon.
Gordon. Yes.
I wanted to say Lieutenant Gordon. But.
Right. So look out for Killer Frost episode this Tuesday. It's going to be awesome.
So what is Hank's role going to be?
I don't know.
Because Hank does he plays a parenting sort of role, but he also plays the cop.
Right.
So
we'll just have to see.
We're going to have to start sharing
marks everywhere.
Sharing the byline.
And also check out eBay. There is a shirt, Supergirl shirt, that's signed by Kevin, that's auctioned off, and you guys, it's a great Christmas present. And there's also other stuff like jorts and all this other stuff that Kevin signed that helps the Wayne Foundation. So if you go to eBay, support the Wayne Foundation and get Kev stuff, signed.
Yeah.
All sorts of stuff. The reason why I saw the Supergirl was because Jamie Walton had shared it in Kevin Smith Facebook site. Yeah. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff. It's some stuff.
And I'm sure you can find it at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Right. So check that out.
Jay and Secret Stash, Jay and Silent Bob Secret Stash.com, I believe is the address.
So those are my two Smedline articles today.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm going to throw in a third little article.
Okay.
And it's more because I just love this. And I have a feeling I'll get a reaction out of you. So my story is very simple. If you listen to the most recent Fatman on Batman, you got a little bit of this whole thing right here. Hang on, I want to make sure I'm pulling the right thing. There are certain things that annoy Gene.
Excalibur, where you see Mirror
Kevin.
naked. Remember, she's Morgana Le Fay, and she sleeps with her brother.
The charm of making.
Sex. Yeah, the charm of making in that movie. She fucking makes her brother.
I tried the charm of making.
And now, Nafra. Was Bethud Dochiel Dienve.
Yes!
Why did we fucking bring Satan here? Oh my God!
So awesome.
Unison on the charm of making. Somewhere a portal has been opened up.
I got to put the
and true evil has entered in the world, just not here. Because we weren't pinpoint accurate, so it wound up in Pacoima or something.
And so...
Did I throw up a little bit?
I can say this. Or even better... Here's what we can do. We can go like this.
Anal natrach.
Ugh.
Urfas bethod. Dochiel dienle. Anal natrach. Urfas bethod.
Make it stop.
Now, Nafra, Vas Bethod, Dochiel Dienve.
Oh, thank you, Kevin
It
and
never
Mark.
stops.
I love you guys.
I was like,
okay,
I
now,
can't believe this happened.
It came out in 1980, so I was 10.
Mm-hmm.
At 10, my parents took my brother and I to see Excalibur in the theater. I guess thinking, oh, it's a King Arthur
You were
story.
young.
How bad can it be? There's a scene where he's like, one guy is fucking a woman in his armor, and it's pretty heavy. It's pretty intense.
I'm sure
I
it's
remember
hot.
being like, like my mind is melting.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, while that's going on, they're cutting away to the woman's husband who is dying because he fell on a spear rack.
Not too much for a 10-year-old to take in.
It was fucking amazing. Your lust will hold you up.
Yes. So Kevin perpetuates.
I have awoken him.
Kevin and Mark perpetuate the most annoying thing in my brain.
I don't know. Shall I tell you what's out there? Yes, please. The dragon. A beast of such power that if you were to see it whole and all complete in a single glance, it would burn you to cinders.
I love that delivery.
Is that Merlin?
Yeah.
Okay, because I love
Burn
Merlin.
you to cinders.
I love Merlin, but the whole overacting is very...
I love
I
that.
know,
That's the
I
best part.
I know.
He
It's
is
just...
so over the top. Your lust will hold
Kevin.
you up.
Oh, Kevin, you're making this never end now. You're just making it
A
worse.
dream to some, a nightmare to others.
And the cats are scattering. The cat just jumped up and ran out the door.
I love me some Excalibur. I mean, it scarred me as a kid. There.
It scarred me.
There could be no other King Arthur after that. I mean,
No.
you see other King Arthur, it's like, that's not fucking Excalibur.
Yeah.
Excalibur fucking, took the gauntlet.
Well, obviously you're not the only one it made a
No,
huge effect on.
Exactly. No, see, it's these kids at a certain age, the right age, they're age appropriate.
Yeah.
1970 kids, 1970 through 75 kids,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
They,
I
certain
get it.
touchstones are all there.
They
So-
sure are, and they keep bringing us more and more enjoyment.
I guess my contribution to the Smed lines
Yes.
this week, Excalibur celebration. That's right.
Okay.
Nafra,
Anal
Vas
natrach.
Bethod, Dochiel Dienve.
Urfas bethod. Dochiel dienle. Anal natrach.
All right, just saying, that's the Smed lines.
They're like slitting my wrists over here.
Say it and you can end it. You have the power.
And this is Jean. Thanks for listening to the Smed Lines.
This has been the Smedlines with Gene Holden.
Well, that was a fun little Smed lines.
That
I
was.
enjoyed that. So I guess, with great excitement now, we turn to our guest, who, I mean, I joke, but we're genuinely thrilled to have Mr. Trevor Fehrman with us today as our guest. And please enjoy this interview. I'm sure we did.
And now, here's our guest.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey,
It's you, sir.
Aw.
it's you guys.
Oh, it's you. I knew it was going to be you.
It was ringing for a long time. We're like, oh boy, this is not going to happen.
Sorry, I just stepped away from the computer.
It's okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
Oh, that voice.
Oh, yeah. I can't tell you how honored we are to speak with you and how excited we are to speak with you.
The honor is all mine.
Oh, yeah. Very
I
nice.
appreciate the invitation.
Oh, you have no idea how long we've kind of been chasing after you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I like to think of myself as reasonably tech savvy, but there's something about Facebook, like, message requests that, like, I don't know. I don't check them for
Yeah.
Somehow I missed them for 8 months at a time. So
I
I saw. Thankfully, Gene. That's your name, right, Gene?
Yeah, that's me.
Thankfully, Gene was persistent, and I
Yeah,
finally
yeah.
saw it, and I was like,
Aw.
"Oh." Had I seen it the first time, I would have immediately. Anyway, I apologize.
Oh,
no, please, no. We're
Please
so
don't.
so okay. Let me start here. I'm gonna start by doing a Kevin-esque like sucking of your dick, sir. So back when Clerks, I mean, we're diehard fans. We have been for a long time. And when Clerks II came out, I'm on record on this show as saying that Clerks II is probably my favorite of all of Kevin's movies, just for the vibe, for the watchability of it, and for the message. You know, that being middle-aged and not really still knowing what you want to be when you grow up kind of thing.
Yeah.
And something I can identify with.
Right.
But when I remember seeing the film, and I rewatched it recently because I knew you were coming on, and just like the first movie, they would always criticize Clerks as saying, well, it's a buddy movie where the problem is the buddy doesn't show up for the first 20 minutes. And it's almost the same thing with Clerks 2. Well, you know, Clerks 2, obviously, Dante and Randall are your buddies. The film really doesn't take off until your character arrives. And you play that character so well. I know Elias. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like
Everybody does.
There's that. I've known that guy in my life. And you just jumped off the screen. And I always wondered why you didn't do more work after that. Because you were brilliant in this movie.
He really
Well,
was.
that's a very good dick sucking, and I
Wow.
appreciate it. No, I guess it's sort of a complicated question in some ways, and it couldn't be simpler. The simple answer is I couldn't get work.
Oh,
and
okay. Well, I don't know what that is a crime.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah, I think the more complicated answer is that I hated being an actor, kind of. Like, I hated working in show business, and so I just couldn't put my heart into, like, auditioning, and it was just really hard. And so I was, before Kevin called me up for Clerks 2, I was already, I think, minutes away from quitting.
Oh, wow.
Like, I was already about done. And then Clerks 2 came, and in a way it was this great boon to my life, and it has been.
Oh, yeah.
But in another way, it kind of, like, added like one more tank of fuel to the car. You know, I was like, all right, I guess I better try and, springboard some work off this now that I'm like in a movie that's in theaters and everything. And so I kind of went back to the grindstone. Is that the right phrase?
Yeah.
But like, I just went back into the sort of the auditioning scene, but I still didn't want to do it. So it was like,
so your heart wasn't into it, and you feel like that people probably picked up on that. Like, he's here.
There's a combination of that and just, I mean, it's an insanely competitive world. So
Yeah.
it's
It
like,
really is.
Yeah.
I think you can't be, even if you're sort of good at it, you have to be good and like 100%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's too many people who are just as good as you and who also really want to do it.
Yeah.
And so at a certain point, you're just kind of like, what am I doing? I'm going to go to school.
Well, I will say this, and that's excellent
you're
that you
going
went
to
to school.
school.
But you brought that character to life. I mean, I can't tell you how much. I mean, Gene and I, and
Oh, my God.
I mean, we have kids now who are in, one's in college and one's in
Right.
high school, so appropriate humor and all that. But
Oh, my God.
thank you, Jesus.
That's my favorite. I swear, every scene that I love is
Or, I'm
Elias
sorry,
scene.
Jesus. All that shit. Yeah, it's
I'm
just
sorry,
insane.
Jesus.
Your character is so
You're
brilliant.
so-
Your performance in it
You're
is brilliant.
It's just like so precious to me, though.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah.
so like cute. I just,
Yeah.
Perfect.
Your portrayal is adorable.
Yeah, it
thank you.
really is.
I wanted to make, I think Kevin and I both wanted to make, I'm not a religious person and Kevin is, but he's not whatever. I'll leave it at that.
Like a
I
Bible,
think we both
like,
both
yeah.
wanted to make a Christian kid that because the character is like this hyper sheltered Christian kid.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
I think
Oh
it would have been
my
too easy to make the caricature of that archetype like really mean spirited.
Oh, I know, right?
We
Wanted
get
to avoid that.
pillow pants.
Pillow
Oh
pants.
my God! When I rewatched that, I really focused on that scene and Jeff Anderson's reactions to you. Oh my God!
So
That
cute.
may be one of the best played out scenes. The setup for Lister Fiend, the whole thing is brilliant.
That actually took us forever. I remember in rehearsal we ran, like, our original approach was a lot more like weirdly lighthearted, and it just it never felt quite right until we got to like the day of, and we started blocking out the scene with the cameras, and then Kevin had some weird epiphany, and he came over to me and was like, this whole scene, just pretend that the music from The Shining is playing. And I was like, all right, we'll try it that way. And it weirdly worked.
That's
like when we brought it to this creepy place, like
yeah,
kind of like locked in.
I would figure the best direction would be Elias believes this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because that's really where it was.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, so like the disconnection between like and in a way, I don't know. Maybe this is just the way that I thought of, like it was interpreting it. Is I think very deep down in his heart he doesn't believe it.
Yeah, he knows.
I think he needs it to be true.
Yes.
And like Randall is picking up on this insane denial and like doesn't want to crack his brain.
The fact that you've thought it through that much to me is like why that character works so well and why we love it. Why we love
and
him.
the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, I'm one of those. I'm one of those Kevin fans who is also a Lord of the Rings fan.
And
so,
you and that other gentleman, just like your conversation is just perfect. I love that.
One ring to rule
them all.
I
feel like thank you for that movie, Trevor. Thank you for that movie.
Thank you for being fans of it, I guess.
But I know the lore. I believe Kevin did write that character for you, although he wrote it off the character that you played in Jeff's movie, which is completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote it sort of with me in mind, and then this is, you may have to ask him. I may be getting the details on this slightly wrong.
That's all right. I will at some point next time I get to talk to him.
I think he wrote it originally with me in mind, and then when we went, he invited me over to like read some of the pages, and I believe initially it wasn't working that well. Like my initial kind of pass at the character was a little bit off, and he was a little worried for the first few days that it wasn't maybe going to work out. But we just kind of like went through a bunch of scenes together and gradually shaped him into this. I think like originally my first take was a much more explosive, defensive character. Like he was really sort of hostile all the time.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And then we try to gradually change him into this gentler sort of. I think I've described him as like a kicked puppy in the past. Like he sort of just wants your love, but he's been abused.
Yeah,
he's like sort of like vulnerable.
He's a perfect comic foil in that movie.
Yeah,
and really the movie does not get going because. Think about it, Mr. Dante, his character is off doing the whole, love triangle thing, which leaves Jeff Anderson, who really is sort of a lonely puppy dog because he's been abandoned.
Right.
He has nothing to do without a foil.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, there's like this pecking order where like
it's true.
Boredom, he just sort of abuses Elias.
Yeah, it's like when left with nothing. So like you were going to be his best friend.
Right.
Okay, now how did you meet Jeff, and then he cast you in his movie? Is that how that worked? Or
I just randomly auditioned for his movie and was cast for it.
Wow.
It's funny. One of the anecdote that occurs to me about that is when I was. I think maybe a couple of years before I did Jeff's movie, I was in this other movie that had Martin Starr in it. Okay. You know who Martin Starr is?
Yeah, from that great show that is now totally.
Right now he's on Silicon Valley, yeah, but he was in Party Down and Freaks and Geeks.
Freaks and Geeks, thank you. Geeks. Yes, and he's been in a lot of movies as a result. Yeah, we know it. He's a brilliant guy.
Yeah.
He's a great comic actor. He and I were in this movie like when we were kids.
Wow.
Maybe 19 or something. What's that?
I said, wow, that's amazing. Because is like, he's one of those guys who transforms.
Yeah, he's just really, his sensibility is just really peculiar and funny. Like, there's just kind of nobody who, I don't know, he does a really unique kind of thing. And
like the beard scene in what is it? Knocked Up.
Oh my God.
Where he just kind of
so funny.
He's just there to be kicked.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a really funny guy. So he and I became pretty good friends after the movie, and we were hanging out. And so we both just happened to be, we were both auditioning for this movie, Jeff's movie. It was called Now You Know.
Yeah.
And we happened to show up in the room at the same time, which was really unusual. Most of the time you're auditioning in LA, like, you know, that often see, there's so many actors there. It's not that common to see some, it's sort of like about as common as it is to like run into a friend on the subway or something, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just a little like, hey, it's you.
Yeah.
And we were just talking before he went in first, and before he went in, I was like, "Don't choke." and then when I got cast instead of him, he like on some level never entirely forgave me. But then he's of course enormously successful, and I think probably he got over it at some point.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe he can turn around and be like, "Hey, yo, why don't you come up in here?"
I think he forgives you.
Yeah, probably. I think the more realistic scenario is he has not thought about acting.
Now it's been a while since I've seen Jeff's movie. Was your character's name Scooter or something? It was like a one name.
Biscuit.
Biscuit. That's it.
Biscuit.
Now, would you say that in real life you're more like Biscuit or more like Elias?
I'm really not like either of them. I think. I guess I'm more like Elias than like Biscuit.
Yeah, I kind of get that vibe. The vulnerability, the sweetness. Sure. Yeah.
Like I have a lot of vices, but like Biscuit is just kind of he's a different sort of fuck up than I am.
Yeah, he seemed too cool, if you know what I mean, or at least he thought he was cool.
That's right. Yeah. I'm not as cool as Biscuit.
Or you're not as cool as Biscuit thinks he is.
Right.
You know?
Totally. No, I actually 100%.
Oh, I too. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So you are a video game geek, sir.
Yes, proud.
Yeah.
Proudly.
Well, me too.
I love games. Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was reflecting back now to like recently I was going through old cassettes and stuff and trying to pull stuff for the show that I could introduce the audience to from my past. And reflecting, and I thought back, me and my brother and I remember us just sitting on the couch, and essentially this must have been like 1983, and saying, you know what would be the greatest job in the world? To be video game designers. And we didn't think that, you know, it's like you didn't think it really existed, but it had to have.
Right.
And then when you see like the documentary of Atari, which was amazing. Did you see the Atari doc?
No, but I know a little bit about their history and how they were involved in like the first big like cratering of the video game industry and all of that.
Well, if you get a chance, see that documentary. It's about,
what's it called?
I want to say it's the Atari story, but it sort of centers around the myth about the E.T. burials.
Yeah.
Now
I know what you're talking about.
And they dig it up.
Yeah.
But
there's actually a place in like New Mexico or something.
Yeah. And they dug it up and everything. And there's some truth to it. There was obviously a landfill filled with old Atari crap. But what the documentary did very well, besides that, was tell the backstory of Atari and also that game designer who, you know, he gets shit on for creating E.T., which when you actually see how it was designed and the thought that he put into it and the constraints, was a brilliant game, even though you keep falling down too much. But he also is responsible for designing Yar's Revenge, possibly Atari's best game. So, you know, it's like, damned if you do, damned if... This poor guy, now he became a counselor and is like an IT, he counsels IT people.
It's called Atari Game Over.
Atari Game Over. That's right.
Okay, cool.
Good doc. Check it out.
Check that out.
Yeah, you'll definitely love it.
Yeah, it is interesting, especially in those early days. Like Atari, it's funny. It's like I'm more of the Nintendo generation.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That was like
I forgive you.
When video games kind of came back.
Yeah, I remember. I was still in.
Yeah, right. No, I know. I'm just saying. Like, I think Atari is sort of like. In some ways, it's remembered fondly, but in other ways, it's associated with the, the arcades. Like
yes, very much so.
Yeah, so it was like, it's not really given credit. I don't know. It's a paradox. In some ways, it's given a lot of credit, but in other ways, like designers like the person that you're talking about blazed the trail that Japanese designers then would perfect.
Yes, exactly. Well, they took it with. they treated it with respect.
Right.
I think is really. I mean, it was such. When you see that doc, you'll love it. It sounds like you will really love it.
I will check it out.
Yeah.
I am familiar with it, but I've just never.
Yeah. Have you seen Indie Gamer or any of those more recently?
Yeah.
That was
and
good.
Fistful of Quarters.
Yeah.
Video. There's some good. Yeah, Indie Game is a good documentary.
Did you read what do you call it? Ready Player One?
I did read Ready Player One,
Okay.
but I had mixed feelings about it. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, well, I loved it, but only because it was playing to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get why other people don't get it. You know, it is such a farcical fantasy, but hey, you know what? Why not be self-indulgent?
I do like it. I don't know. I like it.
I saw it as like a geek backlash to what do you call it? What the Katniss movies?
Oh yeah,
the Katniss,
the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
the Hunger Games.
It's like the geek rebellion. So please tell me about your video game journey and what brought you to do a Jay and Silent Bob video game.
This actually, okay. I've loved games my whole life, and I don't merely love playing video games. I'm really interested in their design and just everything about them. I think is really interesting. I think that they're not given like enough attention, or how do I want to put this? I think that they're not taken as seriously as they should be.
I agree.
So I think after Clerks II, I had it. I think about games all the time anyway. It must have occurred to me at some point, like, why didn't he ever put those characters in a video game? And I think the simple answer is that Kevin doesn't really know anything about video games.
He's very much so, yeah. It's
like,
kind of
really
stinks, too, because he's such a Batman fan. It's like, dude, if you did the Arkham games, you'd be in heaven.
Right, yeah. There's like just kind of weirdly no crossover. But that's a whole thing. That's a whole other thing that applies to like lots of people in general. Like there is this weird. I've often been intrigued by this, where like if you met a friend who was like, oh yeah, I don't watch movies. I don't have time for movies. I think I saw a movie once when I was a kid. But I don't. But it is like that is. You have already thought of dozens of people in your life who are like that with video games.
Yeah. I never even thought about it until you pointed it out. I didn't think about it in those terms, but yes, very much so.
It's really weird that for an industry that is like over $100 billion worldwide, like it's a massive industry.
And is an amalgam of all other entertainment avenues, essentially.
Truly a mixed media form. Yeah, I mean, it's similar to movies in that regard, where it's a combination of animators and musicians and programmers, and it's like this huge teams of really creative people come together to build this one thing, and it's very expensive and time consuming and very difficult to do. And there are half of the people on one side of this firewall. People who play video games are like, oh, this is great, and they're into it. And then if you're on the other side of the firewall, it's not enough to like not know anything about it. You have to have a certain like almost an amount of disdain for it, right? Like it's
there is some
pathetic,
of that.
Childish waste of time.
Yes.
Right, and it's
like they used to think about comic books.
Yeah, that's true. Right, and now I was actually just talking to my girlfriend, like, comic. It's kind of nice that it's no longer. It's kind of nice that it's no longer weird when a prestige movie is based on a comic book.
Yeah.
So, like, I think Blue is the Warmest Color is what we were talking about, where it won the Palme d'Or and it was based on a comic book, and it's like that's no longer even news anymore.
Yeah.
I think that that's cool.
Okay, but we sometimes talk about this on the show, but there's still a pecking order of nerddom. And I am proudly a member of what will, I don't think, ever arrive on cool nerd anything, and that's tabletop RPG players. So, thank you.
Oh, I couldn't disagree with you more. History is long, friend, and I think tabletop RPGs are amazing.
I agree. I love them to death.
The world building, these are really good writers. I think they're some of the best storytellers in game design.
Yep.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. I love, and to me, that's where video games came from, dude. I mean, if you really do your fucking math, video games came from tabletop gamers.
I think also there's Nerd Poker. Brian Posehn did not too long ago.
Okay.
And have you heard of that podcast?
I didn't hear that I haven't heard that podcast, but I know who Brian Posehn is. I'm familiar with his circles and everything.
Yeah, he and a bunch of his comedian friends. It was on for I think over a year, but basically like they would just record their funny Dungeons and Dragons.
So it was a D&D thing.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and then Brian,
cool.
not Brian.
There's a few of them out there.
Dan Harmon just did Harmon Quest, where he like plays Dungeons and Dragons live.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then there's another one out.
We thought of doing that at one point.
So it's getting there.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of this game called Dungeon Crawl Classics, which is like an indie game within an indie game. So they said, this is how hardcore I am. They go back to, Elf is a class.
Right.
They go back to very old school, and they even make it so like we're only printing one rule book. This is it, and then we're going to do a shit ton of modules, and that's the way we're doing it, and that's the only way. And so you won't have to worry about splat books and all that bullshit.
It's like D&D first edition.
Old school, very old school, and they employ a lot of the old, like Errol Otis and a lot of the old artists and stuff. Yeah.
The last tabletop thing that I saw that really impressed me was we're even for a podcast that I'm sure caters to nerds, we are maybe out nerding our audience right now. But I'm going to
Let it happen. It's free to be.
Tabletop RPG setting that I was really impressed with was Exalted from White Wolf, the guys who did Vampire the Masquerade. I just think Exalted is such an interesting setting, and it's crazy to me that nobody's used it yet.
I don't know much about Exalted, but I know White Wolf. But I see that. And see, there you go. When you start to talk about RPG stuff, now you can get into subgenres of that, and then White Wolf tends to lead to those LARPers. And let's face it, those guys are real weirdos.
They're really weird.
Did you ever see Role Models?
Is that a movie or a show? Or
it's a movie with Paul Rudd and.
Oh no, I want to see
it.
No.
What's the guy? Why am I blanking on his name?
Who is it?
Stifler from American Pie movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the kid from.
He was in Kevin's movie, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah, but the kid who plays the LARPer in Role Models is the nerdy-looking kid from. God damn it!
That show, the one with all the nerds on it on ABC.
My brain is not working. It's his name is Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Okay.
And he was on.
That's the
he's
Bane
the villain in. He's McLovin in Superbad.
Okay. Yeah. It's McLovin. Yeah.
And
he's the villain in Kick-Ass.
Sean William Scott was Stifler. Sean William Scott.
Sean William Scott. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
Role
funny. Models is like
Role Model. I have to see this.
Check that out.
Yeah.
By the.
I was like, there was an
David
indie
Wayne.
filmmaker called. Well, I can't remember what their film company's called right now, but they made a movie called. See, now I'm doing it.
I can't remember anyone's
Now I'm
name.
doing it. But essentially, it's a short film. It's about a half hour, and they ended up marketing themselves and doing it very well at cons, at game cons. Oh, The Gamers. Duh.
Oh, The Gamers. Yeah.
The original one is so. I mean, it's indie, but it's so brilliant because what they did was they captured every sort of element of role play, like all those little staples, like how it always seems that the strongest guy can't bend bars, but the wizard can. Shit like that. Or a beautiful scene where like they're all. But what they would do is they would intercut between the guys in around the table. And then them as their characters in this fantasy world. So it's them, with goofy ears and stuff.
Right.
But it's just so brilliantly done by, an independent, group of guys. Yeah. It's a wonderful thing to watch. They eventually made a more full-length one. I like it, but if you're not a gamer, you're not going to like it.
Yeah, after like 2 minutes, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, Gene dials out.
Get me out of here,
She's like,
please.
I'm out of here.
After 2 minutes, it's over. Sorry.
Oh, did I put my foot in my mouth earlier? Then you're on the side of the firewall.
No. I want to hear.
We're total geeks, but that's all right.
I totally want to hear more about the Jay and Silent Bob game.
So
so
you're
I will play this game. I need to hear about more about this game.
Great, yeah. We're trying to build it in such a way where it's pretty accessible, but the guys who I'm working with, Justin Woodward is the head of the studio. It's his indie studio. It's called Interrobang. And they're they have a strong background in fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a side scroller, or a brawler, as it's sometimes called, kind of like Double Dragon or Battletoads or Streets of Rage, or I don't know, River City Ransom. If you guys have ever played any of those games,
what do you call it? Scott Pilgrim did a sort of a little game that was
Okay.
like a
Same
retro.
idea.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
I like that.
So it should be pretty easy to get into, but because of the sort of fighting game pedigree of our team, we hope to make it the skill cap pretty high as well. So we basically,
cool.
to put it in game parlance, like we want the skill floor to be very low and the skill ceiling to be high.
So you want casuals to be able to play, but you also want it so that like real gamers have something to sink their teeth into.
Yeah,
That's
so they
right.
feel
It's
challenged.
exactly-
Yeah.
Cool.
Now I know you're building it on like verbal skills, like doing the dozens, as it were, or verbal challenge, verbal fisticuffs.
Yeah, we have a system that we're building. So one of this happened early on in the brainstorming sessions that I had with Justin. We were planning this all out. That probably the most salient characteristic or quality of Kevin's movies is dialogue, and it's said so often that it's like almost a cliche. But
yes,
we realized that we had to figure out a way to not to use like a annoying buzzword, but we had to figure out a way to gamify that aspect of, like, if we really wanted to kind of translate some part of the feel of Kevin's movies into a video game, then it had to include dialogue in some way.
Yeah, it's his verbiage. It's very distinct.
Yeah.
I play a lot of RPGs, and I like dialogue trees and stuff like that, but we were looking for something a little bit more interactive. So like a dialogue tree, you can sit back and meditate for a while and really consider your choices and decide what you want to say.
Except for now they have those timed ones, which drive me nuts in adventure games.
Yeah, you mean like so they're almost like QTEs for in conversation.
Yeah.
Why did they time it though?
Well, to put pressure on you you have to make a choice. It's like
Yeah,
the Lord of the Rings. I'm not Lord of the Rings. The what do you call it? The Walking Dead game and all those.
They're going to say the South Park
which
game.
are all great. They're brilliant games.
I like the South Park game.
Oh yeah,
That game is funny.
Have you seen the title of their sequel that's coming out?
Oh
soon?
my God! Well, I've been playing Stick of Truth again because I pre-ordered. What the fuck is it? Like the fractured butthole.
Yeah,
the fractured butthole.
I had to think about it for a minute.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
And it looks so good that they're tying it into the superhero genre.
Oh, I love it.
I think what's awesome about those guys' games is like they clearly it's so rare to get crossover from the show business side of like entertainment into video games where they
get it.
The designers clearly understand what they're like. Yeah, like Trey Parker and Matt Stone genuinely clearly like video games. And
they do.
Yeah, you see, if you ever saw like their documentary, there's like an Xbox in the background half the time.
Yeah, I mean they know how to kind of what they love. They know how to put it out there. Yeah. They're just brilliant.
Yeah,
really
I mean, let's face it. Their the freaking World of Warcraft episode was brilliant.
Oh yeah. They had Blizzard's help throughout that. Like Blizzard did the animation.
I know, right?
The best part is like Stan. How do I hand this to you? Okay, press the escape key. Control H to. Brilliant writers.
I know.
So and I love how that game is just sort of. It really feels like an episode that you're playing in.
Yeah, except it's like, I don't know, 9 hours long. Or
yeah. And my son's like, I really love the abortion baby stuff.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
He's like, it's so over the top. I just love it.
I agree.
It's like, you are my son.
So we like dialogue trees, or I like dialogue trees, but I think we wanted to find a way to make the conversations with our characters like feel more interactive, like an actual conversation.
Yeah.
So in an actual argument, it's a little bit like a fighting game, right? Like you're defending yourself and you're finding ways to interrupt or interject, and you're finding ways to counter what they're saying. And
wrong.
Wrong.
It's too soon. Honestly,
I know, isn't it suck?
Yeah. Let's
We're
keep
trying,
talking.
but it really is. We are not happy, but
let's just talk about the game some more.
It would have been better if that joke would have been
It's gonna be
great.
tremendous. It's going to be huge.
Yes.
It's going to be huge.
If only he didn't win, all this would be
It's
great.
going to be huge, just like China.
China.
China. Oh my God. He can't even
And the
say
funny
China.
thing was, let's face it, I mean, Hillary seems to have blown him out of the water.
Oh my God, with the popular vote. But
Yeah.
anyway. So
Anyway, all right, back to your game,
It's
sir.
so easy,
Sorry
but
to.
see, though, isn't it easy? You drift back into it.
I know.
It,
Who was saying that?
John Oliver.
John
he said,
Oliver, that's right.
It's like, it's there. You go to work. You do your thing. You go to the store.
And then all of a
then
sudden
it
you
comes,
remember.
It comes like a wave. Like
It's like
It just
the
comes up,
calamity
it
is
starts
so
with
big that there's a gravity to it. And, like you just kind of get pulled into its orbit.
It's
Well, when
like-
you think
it's
about it,
regardless of what you're doing.
It's like a magnet or something.
We
It's
went out
crazy.
to. We're part of.
Magnets, how do those work?
we were in Shooting Clerks, or I was in Shooting Clerks, and so we went to the premiere over the weekend after the fucking election. So it was like everybody was in this really weird state,
Yeah.
wanting to celebrate, but like at the same time wanting to figure out what the heck happened.
Well, and then like wanting to talk about it, but not
Yeah.
wanting to talk about it.
And-
It's just really
But, like the
awkward.
table we were at, when we crunched the numbers, it's like the reason why everybody was so stunned is because less than 25% of the people voted for this guy. You know what I mean? So all right. So yeah, granted, a lot of them didn't vote at all. So, but that doesn't. A lot of them who didn't vote were just assuming an outcome.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So everyone's like, "What the fuck?"
I know. It's crazy.
3/4 of America was like, "What the fuck?" The next day.
I know.
Yeah.
It's still like we've just been like hit over the head. like,
Yeah,
really hard.
it seems like post-traumatic
Am I in
stress.
a coma right now?
Yeah, it seems like America is in post-traumatic stress
Imagine
disorder.
this. Okay, I actually thought of this. I'm not sure. I'm not the only one, but I like to think I am. Imagine someone who is like in a coma and wakes up.
Oh yeah, they said that. Whose show was that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, and Trump
I
is
think it was,
president.
I think it was
Like,
John
oh my God.
Oliver. He's like,
how,
if you
like,
They
were
wouldn't, they wouldn't 100% believe
I know.
that.
It's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck has happened since I've been in my coma?
Do you guys watch At Midnight? They did like a live election special.
Oh,
No, I mean I love
well,
that.
We do, but
love,
we didn't watch
yeah,
it. No, was
we
it
were
great?
so fucking depressed when we saw the numbers slipping. We just fucking
One of
went
the,
to bed.
one of the numbers were slipping by the time they were filming it, and like one
Yeah.
of the questions was, "Are we in hell right now?"
Right.
Paul F. Tompkins' answer was just, "Yes."
Oh
yes.
my god.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like at 8:00. I knew in my heart and soul because I just saw the returns. There was never this big swell.
Right.
So I was like, oh no, we're fucked.
Yeah.
We are in fact fucked.
Yeah, we are. I agree. I've tweeted that quite a few places. It's hard not to get political like this.
I know. So let's keep talking about Jay and Silent Bob.
Will there be a Trump
Because
bad guy in the
Jay
game?
and Silent Bob bring so much joy to our
Yes,
lives.
yes.
Yeah.
And in a video game form, even more.
Hey, maybe Trump
I'm
will
ready.
put them in his cabinet, Jay and Silent Bob.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah.
It's just as likely
I
as
don't
anything
know.
else
Maybe
at this
it would
point.
be. I don't know. I'm thinking it would be awesome, but maybe not. So anyway.
Snoogans.
Yeah, so
Snoogans.
it's a side scroller that we're putting a lot of attention into.
Now,
Our
you
boss
guys-
characters as like fleshed out characters, and trying to make the story as cool as possible.
Yeah.
I think that in this space you rarely get like a kind of cool, fun story. You know, like Battletoads, I would say, is a very charming game, but it doesn't maybe have like the tightest narrative in the world.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to do that with a lot of those games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
You have to
Castle
find clever ways.
Crashers and,
Yeah. There's
But
not a
that's-
lot of time for like exposition. You know, character like players don't in these kinds of games want to sit and like read a bunch of text. You know, Bethesda style.
But good games, like, I love playing games that are self-aware, like sort of like we were signaling out. There's I can't think of the one right now, but it was made in Barcelona, Spain, a little indie game that I found originally on the Wii U. And, you know, it's sort of the character knows he's a gamer. So like, I dig all that stuff.
Trying to think of what you could be talking about.
If I had my Sony.
Is it Love You to Bits?
No, I would know it if I heard it. Shoot. The fact that it was made in Barcelona, Spain is almost irrelevant.
Oh, okay.
The only reason that stands out to me is because a woman who does a segment on our show is from Barcelona. So.
All right.
Sorry, I'm all dried up here. I got to take a sip. I was going to ask you about your funding, because I remember when you were on Kevin's show, you were talking about a funding company you used, and the thing that really intrigued me was that they had worked it out so that you can actually get investors.
Yeah, so it's something that the crowdfunding site that we used is called fig.co, and they funded Psychonauts 2 through it.
Okay.
Which I think raised something like $38 million or something insane like that.
Gotcha.
But that's because Psychonauts is awesome.
Yeah.
So Fig is a crowdfunding site that only is for video games, which is really not. Oh no, $38 million. I'm out of my mind. It was $3.8 million.
Gotcha.
I was off by a factor.
No, you just moved the decimal. That happens a lot.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You just moved it over.
Just an order of magnitude or two. Like
we understood. Hey, after you get after $1 million, it's beyond our comprehension.
It's fine.
Right? Yeah. That's just a big number. They only fund video games, which is kind of nice because if you go on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, which I have nothing against those sites, they're great. A lot of amazing games exist because of those sites.
Yeah.
But as an indie developer in particular, it's easy to get lost in the mix there.
Mm-hmm. As a movie person, it's easy to get. We're doing an independent documentary on podcasting, and it's tough.
So that's the thing that's valuable about those spaces is that Indiegogo and Kickstarter are kind of agnostic about the content, to a degree.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a meritocracy in that regard, which is really nice. And Fig is more like. Their strategy is more like they curate the games that they think are cool and then try to get them crowdfunded. So if you go, basically the difference is like if you go to Fig, they'll only have 1 or 2 campaigns ever at any given time.
So it's sort of like, it's like we're picking a good investment. We're only backing winners.
Right. Yeah, they try to because they have to succeed most of the time. You know what I mean? Because they only get paid basically if their campaigns are successful. So it's like Kickstarter can afford to have like a 5% success rate because that 5% pays for the 95% or whatever that that fail.
Yeah.
But Fig has got a different business model, and they're one of the first companies that the SEC just started to allow. Now, this is just the way it was explained to me. So if there's somebody listening who understands a lot more about this than I do, then I take this with a grain of salt.
I just saw it as being very hopeful.
The SEC just started to allow small investments, so what they call unaccredited investors, which I think is investments that are below $10,000 or something like that.
Gotcha.
So basically, like you don't have to be a millionaire to invest in some kind of artistic product that you'd like to see. You can just sort of put in whatever money that you want,
and you can feel reasonably safe because there's now some sort of infrastructure. Whereas in the past, some guy's making a game, a movie, whatever. You give him money. Where does that go? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess you try to keep. It is a challenge, right? Because we're trying to launch our as we speak. We're probably just a week or so, or maybe a few weeks away from launching our website.
Awesome.
Like on the one hand, you don't want to reveal too much about the thing that you're doing because showing a work in progress can always be tricky because like you're going to change things and. It looks ugly until it's done and all that stuff.
Yep.
But B, you don't want to give anything away. But on the other hand, it's like these people gave you money, and it's like it's courteous to keep them updated as to what you're doing with it. You know
Very
what I mean?
much so.
So it's like it's a tightrope walk, I think.
But with a place like Fig, again, they've sort of backed the winners, and they have all that infrastructure in place for you guys to make it a lot easier, I would assume.
They were enormously helpful. So because they.
It's like having Bob Hawke on your side. All right, we want to take a moment to talk about Death Wish Coffee. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and get over to deathwishcoffee.com. And there you can buy the strongest coffee known to man without a prescription.
The world's strongest coffee ever.
Yes, as proudly displayed on my wife's sweatshirt over there.
Yes, on my body, on my mug,
on
my K-cups.
Yes, and you'll know them by their telling sign of the skull and crossbones.
It's
that tells
so
you.
good.
exactly what you're in for. It's that used to be the international symbol for poison, but now it is the symbol for good damn coffee.
It's awesome. Without milk, with milk, you don't really need it because it's strong.
But
it's
not bitter?
Not bitter. So you don't even need milk. You don't even need sugar, but you can add it if you'd like. It's just really, really the perfect, strongest, most awesome coffee.
Become a junkie of Death Wish, just like the Anderson Council. And
we got them hooked.
Again, deathwishcoffee.com. Thank you very much.
Enjoy it.
I want to take this time to mention to you www.audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. That's right, www.audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. That's one word, conjunctified. Go there, sign up for your free 30-day free trial. Sign up, get a free book. A free audiobook, because you don't have to go through no tedious reading. You don't have to turn no fucking pages. You don't have to do any of that bullshit. You get in your car, you put on your headphones, and you are listening to a book. You're taking a magical journey into a fictitious land. You're expanding your mind, all when you're stuck in traffic. Fucking amazing. Audiobooks. These are the wave of the future. And you can get in for free for 30 days. A free trial. And when you get your free trial, you can download a copy of Tough Shit by our Savior, Kevin Smith. That's right. Our Lord and Savior, Kevin Smith, has left words for us to follow in our lives. And we can get it for free just by signing up to audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. That's right. audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. Thank you. Please sign up. You'll be very happy you did.
Oh, Bob Hawke. I don't think I ever met him, but I do know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He's a good guy. Very good guy.
I say that about everyone.
We were talking about we were talking about the investment and how they opened up so that small investors.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say that they were like insanely helpful because
yes, Fig. That's right.
Justin is like a really good I don't want to call him a hustler.
I guess what you mean by that. He's a mover and shaker.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's good at connecting with people and
networking,
like whatever, But neither of us were anything close to like experts on how to run a crowdfunding campaign. Like that is just a totally separate set of skills.
So much so.
And so it was awesome to have Fig, like this group of professionals who a lot of them came from Kickstarter. They'd done campaigns before in one capacity or another. Basically, like we had people to guide us, like to give us a production crew to help us make the video and tell us like what kinds of just simple things like what kinds of rewards do we offer at what tiers and things like that like would have been taken so much more effort for us to do ourselves.
You have no idea. We've done a couple now. And yes, it is a nightmare, especially if you're a person who doesn't like essentially to beg. And that's what you're doing. And you have to get over that. And you have to get over like being that guy. I'm that Indiegogo guy now that everyone wants to avoid because he's like, oh, get away from me. You're pushing your Indiegogo crowd. But I mean, you have to do these things.
Well, it's a different way to get it funded, right? So like that's I think. At least that's the way that I think about it.
You're paying up front.
Right. Basically. But you are asking a lot of people. Basically, instead of asking like a small number of very rich people to take a large risk, you're asking a lot of people to take a smaller risk.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is like to a lot of people who gave us like $200, like I'm sure $200 is a lot of money, and to that person, it's like I guess the way I just phrased it, I didn't mean to. By phrasing it as a smaller risk, I didn't mean to say that it was insignificant for people.
Yeah, but the good thing, I mean, with a perk system, you got something. You always get something for your money. The investment system, if you're going into it saying, I'm taking a risk here.
Right.
But I like that because there are a lot of people out there when you say, hey, invest in my money, I'll give you a t-shirt. It's like not quite the same as if you say, invest in my money, Invest in my movie, and you can get a return on your investment, possibly. We're all taking a risk here, but, you could make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could. It's just like video games are
movie.
just like movies, and they're just like it's movies and music, and the publishing industry. It's like let's say it's a riskier investment than like
what do they call it? There's an actual
energy.
there's like a fiduciary term for it. Essentially, it means you could lose be willing to lose everything you're about to put in here and not see anything. It's essentially throwing your money into the wind.
It's like it's a weird, volatile, and competitive industry.
Yes, don't invest any money you're not willing to lose in a movie, video game, or some kind of. However, if you hit the jackpot,
yeah, that's right. If you hit the jackpot, then you make a lot. It's I don't know enough about financial terms to know what you're talking, or to know.
Yeah, me either, really.
Term you're referring to,
but I know there is that term that I've read it in several books. What's his name? If Chins Could Kill.
Oh,
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell's book.
Yeah, he writes about it in his book, which is brilliant. About he walks you through the contracting process of trying to get money from investors and what that document looked like, and he explains the legal gibberish into. You're going to lose your shirt on this. So if you're not willing to lose your shirt on this, don't invest.
Yeah.
Right. That's I have lots of friends who have found ways to fund movies, and it's exactly the same. It's just like, I think for a lot of the time it can be something that like rich people want to do because they want to put their name on a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a lot of times that's like who you're targeting, but that always felt weirdly predatory to me.
Yeah.
Like an odd kind of, I don't know. I guess they're rich. They don't care.
In a world of IMDb, though, that's getting a lot easier. I mean, you can. It's interesting. As someone who's doing a documentary now, you can get a lot done cheaper. But I mean, it doesn't mean it's still. Hey, you're not going to put any money.
No,
in
you're
this.
right. Like it's way, way, way more viable for to do it on the cheap these days.
Yeah, because it's digital. So the main cost is right out of the way. Film.
Yeah.
Boom. So, but it doesn't mean you're still going to need time. You're still going to have to line up people. Or you're still going to have to have passion for the project. And it's made it so it's accessible. But Bob Hawke. I'm sorry, he said it best. Don't make a movie unless you have to.
Yeah.
Right.
And so don't make a video game unless you have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess I did feel like I had to.
Yeah.
I love them a lot, and I think it's crazy that these characters haven't been used yet. And I'm really passionate about there's some things that I want to see in games that I feel like I don't see enough, and I love the indie scene, particularly the people that I'm working with. I think the indie scene in video games is just so vibrant, and I think that we're going to make something. Our goal is to make something that's genuinely really cool.
Yeah.
We from the get-go, it was mortifying to us, the idea that this would sort of feel like a cash-in or something.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. I mean, I heard the episode of SModcast you were on, and you can definitely tell you're a true blue.
You're a fan.
Gamer and a fan, and this is a good opportunity to put the two together.
Justin is one of those guys who's like my partner, the head of the studio in this. He's one of those guys who's kind of like he would watch. Like in tougher times in his life, let's say, he would watch some of the Skewniverse movies on repeat, basically.
Yeah.
Just because they're just comforting.
Yeah. I'm one of those kinds of will fall asleep to commentary movie tracks.
There's a feeling like you feel cozy or something.
Yeah. I do that with. There's one of his podcasts is A Peephole History. Highlands of People.
His family and
I
stuff.
fall asleep to that a lot. It is very comforting.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's nice to find those things.
We have a lot of pretty hardcore fans, I think, on the team who are it's always they're always bringing stuff up to me in meetings and stuff it's like that thing in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and I'm like, I don't remember that at all.
But
you have seen that movie 40.
That same exact thing happened. We met Frank Conniff, we had Frank Conniff on the show, and he's TV's Frank from
Mystery Science
Theater.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there's this stupid song that he sung called Johnny Long Torso. And I thought I don't know why, I thought he would remember this. And I'm like, will you sing Johnny Long Torso with me? And he's like, I don't remember it. I was so deflated.
You were so brave to ask him that. I was so proud of you.
So I get that.
Can I tell you how excited I am that Jay and Silent Bob are going to be in a video game? To me, it's just like the perfect thing.
I agree. The only thing that I find more cool is the fact that they're going to essentially be in Jaws with a moose, too.
That too.
But because of contracts and stuff, Elias can't really be in this game, could he?
No, I think that the rights for those things are just too tricky. They're spread across too many studios and stuff like that. And we raised $400,000, which is a lot of money.
That's really good
in one way, but it's not a lot of money in another way.
Well, congratulations.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you're talking about rights, believe me. Yes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And we got to pay a team of people for a year and a half, and it's we have to manage that budget extremely carefully. So we're thrilled to.
But you are lucky because Kevin does own the rights to Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
That was one of the smarter things he did when getting into the business.
Right. He, actually, now I think, if I'm not mistaken, he owns the rights to Bob, and Jay owns the rights to Jay.
Aha! Good for him. So they split him up.
That's cool.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think I learned that on his Jay and Silent Bob Get Old.
I think I remember it now that you're saying it, but so much has to go through this filter.
Jay, and speaking of that, though, because I was making fun of Kevin for not knowing anything about video games. I should maybe making fun isn't the right. He has been crazy supportive from the get-go. The moment I brought it to his attention, despite the fact that he doesn't know that much about games, he was just yeah, go do it.
But Jay, on the other hand,
oh my God, Jay loves
Jay is
fucking gamer.
Jay is sincerely excited, I think, and
he's got a Twitch channel, for God's sakes.
I know.
Yeah. We're trying to we're actually trying to help him out with that a little bit. But
cool.
Jay and Jordan have been really helping us a lot, just really, really supportive. And now that we've been in production, hardcore production for probably the last 2 or 3 months, we have a bunch of awesome animations, and we're getting really excited to we're going to put some stuff together and show.
Now, are these all video game animators within the company, or did you tap any of? Because Kevin has a shitload of animators around him now.
Oh no, these are people that Justin has been working with for a while.
Yeah, so they're video game animators.
Cool.
Yeah. I like the way you guys are kind of doing it looked like cell shading, but not. You know what I mean? Mobile cell shading, if you kind of know what I mean.
Yeah, they're sprites, but it's a very clean kind of cartoony look.
Yeah. It's very interesting. It's a little. I want to say it looks like they've been steamrollered a little bit, or you know what I mean? They have a style to them that makes them a little more oblong.
Do you mean just they're very flat? Or something?
Well, yeah, obviously, and it gives you that 2D on 3D thing.
We should do Paper
Mario. Yeah, there you go. You almost pulled it.
We should do Paper Mario. Yeah. James
oh my God, yes.
That'd be amazing. What would you say is your favorite video game of all time if you had to pick one?
Grim Fandango.
What?
Grim Fandango is probably my favorite game. I have a lot of favorite games. I think Alpha Centauri is pretty far up there. Planescape Torment. But yeah, if push comes to shove, Grim Fandango's the premise of it is so strange. The dialogue is so funny and charming. The art direction is incredible. The music in it is amazing, and I just love it. I've played it probably 10 times, and I could play it again right now.
Cool. I would say that Zelda: Link to the Past is one of those games that changed my life. In terms of wow, look what you can do with essentially a platformer or whatever you want to call it. Loved it.
Really beautiful music, and that game captures a mood that is so. It's just so Miyazaki. He's just not Miyazaki, Miyamoto.
Yeah.
Kind of Miyazaki too in a way, but he. I don't know if you're familiar with this anecdote, but the original Legend of Zelda.
Yes, I remember. It was not as pretty or as fluid.
Right, yeah, of course. There was technology limitations. But the concept behind it was Miyamoto wanted to recreate the experience that he had when he was a kid exploring the woods by his house.
Ah.
And I've never like that resonated so deeply with me when I read that, because like, that is what those games feel like. Like there's this like child sense of exploration and wonder and awe, you know, and danger lurking behind every boulder, and you know, but like the adventure that you can have just by like wandering outside, I think.
And that game was perfect because it did so many things well. You know, it built it's sort of an open world, but not really, because you need an item at this. You know, you're never going to.
It's a little bit non-linear, but it's basically organized into levels. It's a very odd hybrid. It's sort of Metroidvania.
And I always tell people, when people say games are linear, I say all the best games are linear. You're out of your fucking mind if you think otherwise. Because
some of the best games are linear. Like, I mean, Super Mario World is a great game, and I'd say that's
okay.
pretty linear.
All right, yeah, but that's sort of a different thing. You know what I mean? Like, you could say Mario Kart too. I mean, that's an amazing game, so much fun, and it's not really linear. But
I think that like boring linearity in games is bad, but it's not necessarily all the time bad with everything, right? I think so. Games that are basically just monster corridors where you run down and you shoot things as they pop out at you. Like,
give me a game with an amazing story, and I don't care how fucking linear it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you're telling me a good story and you get me in there, it doesn't matter. Linear does not matter to me in the least.
Yeah, I mean, I think like anything, it can be bad, and it can be like not a concern at all. Like I would say, Ico is pretty linear, or like Shadow of the Colossus is pretty linear, but those are pretty incredible games.
Yeah, if you had the patience to unlock them, oh my god.
Yeah, they're sort of relatively sedate.
Yeah, but now when I think back, it's like because I recently, they reissue a lot of this stuff, and it's like I had the patience to play this. But I don't get that with Zelda, A Link to the Past. That's what's so great about that game. Just the right amount of skill, too. Like you affect the game.
It's truly a special work of art. I 100% agree. One of the best games ever designed.
Yeah, and now I love Skyrim. I've been playing Skyrim. I mean, I loved it when it came out. They re-released it. Especially in light of this election and shit, it felt so good to just escape into that world again.
Skyrim's cool, yeah. I like Bethesda's games in general. They brought Fallout back.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
That was great.
Oh, yeah. I loved Fallout, the original. That was another one of those games I would point to that was almost seminal. The first Fallout, like, amongst our friends.
It's awesome.
Shit, we love that game.
One a little better.
Oh, you're a glutton for punishment then. Oh, that was so painful. That game hurts, man. Like, it's so hard right from the start.
Yeah, I like
Here's a spear.
I feel like the characters in the second one, like it gets at weirder themes or something like that. Have you been checking out speaking of Fig, I think they recently succeeded in Wasteland 3.
Oh, did they?
That was like their latest campaign.
I
believe they made it.
I have Wastelands, the most recent one. I even have it on the Sony. I love it.
They made $3.1 million for Wasteland 3.
Awesome. That's great. The only thing I don't like, or, I got criticisms about it, it's a little too skilly. There's too many freaking skills. Like, I need a toaster skill, and this skill, and that skill. Really?
Yeah, it can be a little bit overwhelming if you're not used to that sort of Baldur's Gate Infinity Engine style of RPG.
It's really party. It's a party building. Like, so if you're used to being a player... Yeah, you gotta rethink. You gotta go old school RPG, and
it's not like a Diablo sort of action RPG. Like it's real. Like pause the game, think very carefully about
and make sure that you have somebody in this party has a skill set that you need later.
Yeah.
I love that game.
I like that style of game, but I've been playing RPGs since I was 7 or something. So
I'm the same way. I remember I didn't have an Apple IIe, but my neighbor friends did. So we would sit there and play. I would watch as they played Wizardry, and it's like D&D brought to life somehow.
I remember those games.
Oh my God, it was like amazing. And then finally we got a computer so I could play the Pool of the SSI games. Mm-hmm. Those old D&D games, like Pool of Radiance and
Curse
of Azure Bonds, and I totally get it.
What was why am I blanking on the most famous one?
I think it was Azure Bonds.
Eye of the Beholder.
Oh, yeah. Eye of the Beholder is when they went 3D.
Yeah, that was later.
Or 360, if you will. Like,
Yeah.
3D.
They're like dungeon crawlers, kind of.
Yeah. It was like, sort of a, almost like Skyrim, if you think about it.
I feel like we are utterly leaving Jean out of this conversation. She's so lost.
She's asleep over there.
Oh, no,
She's like, I know some of these words.
I do. I know the and
Hey,
yeah.
she was here she was dialed in for all the Clerks II discussion.
I know. I love it. I'm just going back to Elias.
But like you were saying, video games don't get enough love, and they should. And I know, no matter what, lots of Kevin fans are gamers.
Right.
So,
and we've played video games as a family together.
Yeah, we have.
Like Mario Kart and all those.
Yeah.
Like, I'll sometimes go.
The Wii was better for that.
Even like Cameron plays. I guess it's
Smash
not,
Brothers.
Is awesome.
I guess it's not a video game.
Mario Kart is awesome.
I guess it's not a video game, but Civilization.
Civilization is too a video game. How dare you?
Sorry,
you
I'm
say.
sorry. Wait, to me,
there is a Civilization podcast that I've been listening to.
I'm sorry. Just scratch
one of the great video game franchises of all time. I was just saying that after Grim Fandango, Alpha Centauri is like maybe my second.
Really? Very interesting poll. Alpha Centauri.
Yeah, it's awesome. It has one of the best stories in video game history. It's really fascinating.
I remember when it came out, and I remember playing it. I don't know why I didn't get hooked on it the same way I got hooked on, Civ, the original Civ. That was like a life changer. One more turn, how many...
Yeah. I love them. I love those games.
Oh, fuck. Do you remember Noyabunga's Ambition from the old NES?
He's younger. He's younger than us.
Okay. It was Japanese take over Japan, but it was the NES, so like turns took forever.
Wait, what are you talking about? This is a game?
Nintendo.
Yeah, this is Nintendo NES
What's
system.
it called?
Noyabunga's Ambition.
Noyabunga's Ambition. I remember.
No, yeah.
I'm probably saying his name wrong. Noyabunga.
Noyabunga.
Yeah.
You're saying it wrong.
But I remember, man, like being up literally all night with nicotine stains on my fingers.
Ew.
And having...
Yeah, they remade this game recently.
Yes, they did. And having my emperor die of old age one turn before I would have had all of Japan.
This was, if I'm not mistaken, a Genesis game.
It was also on the NES. That's where I played.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
I had a Genesis when I was a kid, and my friend Tony, who I'm still friends with, lived across the street from me and had an SNES. We strategically planned this out so that I would get the Genesis because we knew that we weren't both going to get both. So he would get the SNES, I would get the Genesis. And I do love my Genesis. There were a lot of great games on it, but I guess I have to admit that he probably got the better end of that deal. SNES is a pretty legendary platform.
Yeah, it is.
Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 4 and 6. Like
I just remember the big game dump, though. That's what I remember. Like when they got rid, it's like all of a sudden, or no, that was the Saturn.
Yeah,
the Saturn came out.
Saturn had some good games too.
Oh yeah, it came out, and then like within a year or two, they discontinued it. And then I just remember all my friends getting all these shitload of games for dirt cheap.
But what is that? I never even heard of that.
It was a follow-up system.
Saturn?
Yeah.
What year was that?
It would have been... What generation was that? Would it have been Sony? PlayStation by then?
It was like contemporaneous with the...
PS1, I think.
No, a little bit before that, I think. It was
like in that gap between the Nintendo 64 and... Yeah, it was around there. It was dead-ended, and we don't know why, because...
Wow.
I think it was like insanely expensive when it came out.
Yeah, and it was really good-looking for the time. Yeah, but that was the thing.
I've only played it, let's call it semi-legally, and by that I mean illegally, on emulation.
Gotcha.
Because I don't have a Saturn. But Panzer Dragoon Saga is probably one of the great Japanese games of that generation. Nobody ever played it because it was on the Saturn.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
There you go.
Can't they put it on a different, like...
No one cares anymore.
Console?
You can probably download it on...
It's probably the greatest game ever, and no one got to play it.
It's really
Adventure
really
is the greatest game ever.
How do you know?
In some ways, it sort of reminds me of a little bit of what we're trying to do, where like they took a rail shooter, essentially. So like a rail shooter, if you're not familiar with the term, it's a little bit like those... You know those light gun games that are like at movie theaters or arcades?
Yeah.
It's sort of like that, where like the camera moves you and you just have to sit there and shoot things.
Oh,
or like
okay.
Star Fox is a rail shooter.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I know
So
that.
they took a rail shooter, but they actually added this like really complex mythology to it, and like there's this really kind of moving, interesting story that is happening. It's elegant the way they figured out how to tell an interesting story in what you would not normally associate as a genre that is capable of encapsulating one.
Wow. Sounds good.
So that's what you guys are. You're trying to break the mold of the side-scrolling fighter.
As the writer, that's what I'm trying to do.
Right.
We'll see how much my team lets me get away with.
Dude, again, I go back to, if you give me a good story, I don't care what the platform is, I don't care what the mechanism is. So long as all that works in relation to the game,
the story is
as long as the story sucks me in. That's why I'm loving those story games that have been coming out lately.
Yeah, like the Telltale stuff.
Yeah, because they just pull.
Did you play the? You know what I really liked?
I'm playing
the
Batman one now.
I haven't played that one yet, but the Wolf Among Us, I was really impressed with.
I haven't played it, but now that I'm sinking into Batman,
it's
I
really
want to
cool.
go back. Yeah, I hear.
Yeah, I liked the Fables comics, but I actually like this. I like the Telltale thing a lot more. It's interesting. Like I think that Telltale sometimes takes franchises and makes them better. Like I definitely like the Walking Dead Telltale games more than the show.
Oh yeah, it was the game of the year and everything.
I just think that the characters are more plausible, and it's a better reflection of Kirby's world.
Yeah.
But whatever. Television is a difficult medium. Like you have to make all kinds of. It's expensive, and so I'm not trying to like crap on the show or anything. But
I backed into those games, and I do think I backed into that one because I was not a Walking Dead guy.
Right.
So I hate to admit it, as much as Kevin's on AMC and all that.
but you
not
can't
that I
be
dislike
into-
zombies. It's just I was always like, hasn't we haven't done the zombie thing? Isn't it done?
The
now?
comics are really good.
Yeah,
the
I know.
comics
and
are cool.
But oh god, like I fell out of comics. So there's so much work to comics.
Yeah.
I'm bagging and bored, and then they start to take up your whole life, and so
that's true.
I had fallen away from the comic by the time,
and it's hard just to get a few.
and then digital gets expensive.
Yeah,
right.
So, but anyway,
I'll just get one or two.
so I kind of
comics.
missed the Walking Dead wave.
Yeah,
but I was very on board for being a fantasy guy with what do you call it? Why can't I think of the name? The HBO show
Game of Thrones.
Because I had already read the books.
So had I. I was so lucky. I had discovered those books and read them about a year before HBO announced.
Oh, then you got very lucky.
Wow.
I got right in.
You weren't one of the people who had to wait, for in between those fucking books.
Oh no, I was trying to say something more obnoxious. That like I wasn't one of the people who got into Game of Thrones only after HBO made it cool.
Oh yeah,
like I was ever so slightly before that door closed.
Me too, but
I never get
You
to do that.
were cool before cool was.
The only reason I was because we had literally where I worked. I worked in Virginia at the time in a data center. We sort of had it was a very informal book club that sort of popped up. Just nerds reading books, and like. Potter was still happening, so we were all into. King was still doing his the Gunslinger series. So we were all into that, and then we were sort of like there was a point where we're like, "There's nothing else to do," and then Brett Haas, I'll never forget, he's like, "Oh, you guys should try these."
Yeah,
there you go.
And then we were off to the races.
Yeah.
They're the only I have this sadomasochistic relationship with fantasy and science fiction where like I love genre literature, but I hate crappy genre literature, which is almost all of it.
Yeah.
But I can't stop.
True.
So when I discover something like A Song of Ice and Fire, it's like, oh, thank God. Like I don't have to, miss my way through this. Like it's genuinely just good.
Oh, come on, though. Tell me the fourth book, I think it was. Whichever one where it was like, I'm taking all the characters you like, and I'm just taking them out of the story this time.
That was a weird thing that he felt forced to do, but I genuinely think, in some ways, A Feast for Crows is the most interesting book.
It is a very interesting book. I will give you that. But I remember fighting it tooth and nail, like at least
Tyrion's
the first third.
Yeah. Wait, is Arya? No, I don't think Arya's.
What the fuck? Where are all the characters?
Jon Snow's not in it. Yeah.
These are all the characters I fucking hate.
Right, yeah. But it was like that's also where we get the Septon.
Yes.
Wasn't it Septon Celador speech, like the Septon Maribald speech, where he's talking like so. Feast for Crows is this interesting.
It's like the Iron Man 2 of the series. People don't remember Iron Man 2 until you start explaining, I remember Black Widow's in that. And, yeah, maybe it wasn't so bad. Maybe Iron Man 3 sucked.
I just think, like, when taken in the whole, like, when you look at the series, like, as a whole, those first 3 books are about these political machinations, and the plot is really exciting, and it moves really at breakneck speed.
Yeah.
And it's all of these players playing the Game of Thrones, and in the 4th book, we get our first real insight into the true damage that this has done to normal people.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a
I
strong anti-war subtext to it.
Love the second book. Loved the second book because it's so much like Tyrion's rise to power.
Yeah. He's great.
Yeah. Well-told character. That's really... See, that's what it's all about. But
One
then,
of the best.
oh my God. Do you know that was really just supposed to be a trilogy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's so long-winded.
What was supposed to be a trilogy?
The original
of
Song
Thrones?
of Ice and Fire, which is what
Yeah.
it's technically called.
Yeah.
Don't say Game of Thrones. That's the first book's name.
The first, sorry.
I don't care if people call it Game of Thrones. It's
I know,
like,
I'm kidding.
He's just being...
I'm
he's
being
just
nerdy
being
dork.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't say that. That's fighting words.
I've read them 3 times. I'm one of those fans who, like, I know the fan theories and, like, you know, like,
That's
I'm
cool,
really
though.
into
You're
them.
a fan.
I like them a lot. Yeah,
I'm
definitely a fan.
Admittedly, I audiobooked most of them.
Oh my God,
I
love
audiobooked them the first time.
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah.
how I discovered them was through audiobooks.
Aren't they great?
I
the
love
audiobooks?
Audiobooks changed my life.
The Harry Potter
Roy Dotrice
audiobooks.
is amazing. Roy Dotrice is so goddamn good in
Yes.
those audiobooks. And as a
Yes.
result of listening to them before I read them, I can now only say the names of the characters the way that he says them.
Wait, which book?
It's the Game of Thrones books.
Okay, Game of Thrones. Okay.
Oh, were you talking about you
Harry
listened to
Potter? Harry
That's
Potter's
right.
the same way.
Oh my God, I'm like,
You know what's
Harry-
very interesting about Harry
He's
Potter?
wonderful.
Okay, now the first book, if Jim Dale,
that's right.
he nails all the pronunciations the way they're supposed to be,
Like-
including saying Voldemort, which is how I always have said it.
And it's
The
Voldemort.
T
Right.
is silent.
It is.
But
yeah,
in
I
the
think they even
movies,
say that at one point, right?
yeah, the movies like fucked it up,
They
and
ruined it,
it
yeah.
was only recently I heard within the last year someone asked her point blank.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and she said no. Yeah, it's Voldemort. It's the T is silent.
In the
but,
movies,
like,
they
there's-
say
there's
Voldemort.
nothing. It can't close the barn door now that the horse
Yeah.
is bolted kind of situation.
So in the movies, they say Voldemort.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
but that's the fucked up part because Jim Dale, like in the 3rd or 4th books or maybe 5th, corrects to the wrong thing.
He
just
goes to
starts doing it
Voldemort.
differently.
He says
Yes,
the wrong thing. Oh,
yes.
I love when he does the voices, like when he does like
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
like
so that
Ron,
was like one of the weirder elements.
like
of it.
Ron's mom, who's like probably one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
I love
There's
her.
like, so Roy Dotrice is this pretty famous British actor.
Okay,
who
hang
does
on a
all
minute.
of-
How did you say the word DROW?
How do I say Dro,
Wow. Where are you from originally?
Minnesota.
That could be it. It might be a Midwest thing or a West thing. Because
I say Dro, but I also
Drow?
play Dota too. And if I'm playing
that's so
Drow,
interesting.
if
to
I'm
me.
playing Drow Ranger, then I say Drow Ranger.
See, but okay, yeah. See, that's the thing. We always said
Thinking
drow,
drow,
and
yeah.
then one day I met a guy who said, and he did exactly what I did to you. He said, "How do you?" Because we found out that we're both D&D people. He said, "How do you say the word DROW?" And I said, "Drow." He's like, "I said dro. We always said dro."
Really?
Yeah.
And he was from Midwest. I was like,
Ah.
because it's like crow with a D to them. And we're like,
okay.
no, it was drow,
Makes
dude.
sense. It makes sense.
I like to imagine that there are 2 Dro factions
Warring
in the,
clans.
in the Underdark.
Just what we
And
need.
yeah, the reason that there's a civil war is because they pronounce their race differently.
See, it's funny when you were saying that all fantasy genre stuff is essentially shit. I started thinking about
Not all of it, just
the Drit series or whatever, and I love it. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah. I mean,
I have enough disconnect. Like you see, it, I love South Park. They make fun of it, like the garble of gobbledygook.
Yeah.
Down in the valley of transcendent. All these fucking like names.
yeah. Everybody's name has like 7 vowels in it. And 2 consonants.
Yes, and essentially it's some princess story ultimately.
Right.
Dude, I appreciate you giving so much for your time. I'm looking down here, and I know I had to reset at least once, and we're at 32 minutes. So we probably sucked your brain out.
No, not at all. It's been a pleasure.
No, cool. So are you still with Renee Humphreys?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's so great.
We're coming up on 11 years.
Wow. And that's just dating, right? You're not married? You tie the knot?
I mean, we live together. We just haven't officially been married.
Common law?
Well, that's what it is.
I don't think they do that in California, but like we are essentially married.
Gotcha. That's probably the smarter way to do it.
Yeah.
One of these days we'll like accidentally stumble into the courthouse and just
have Kevin do it.
Yeah.
Have Kevin do it.
What, like have him bribe an official to?
No, he can officiate.
He can do it himself.
Yeah, he's got he paid $15 to the Church of Thinkology. He can marry people now.
All right, maybe I'll consider it.
Brian O'Halloran, I actually have a reverendhood in the same church.
I do
Brian
too,
O'Halloran.
actually. I don't. Well, not in that church. I think mine's just a Unitarian. I officiated a friend's wedding a couple of years ago.
Oh, cool.
So I could marry. No,
You can do it yourself.
Yeah, that'd be a little weird.
I don't think
you don't want to do yourself
Why?
in public. That'd be. Do I take this woman? Be like some kind of weird schizophrenic event.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
I always say thank you, Jesus, but it's I'm sorry, Jesus.
I'm sorry,
I
Jesus.
know.
Thank you,
Lord.
Jesus. That's
I
even
know.
I'm sorry,
creepier.
sister. I'm sorry, Lord. I can't remember.
It's Jesus.
Sorry,
It's
Jesus.
definitely
No,
Jesus.
I'm sorry, Jesus.
Yeah, we love that too. It's so hilarious. That and cake. Even though that's not yours, but
Yeah, that is a good line. I think my favorite line. I may have even said this in another podcast. My favorite line in the whole movie is when, goddamn, I think that guy's name is Zach. Yeah, Zach.
Yeah.
Who helped us do the behind the scene documentary stuff.
yeah, and who's
awesome
also isn't he Kelly? Or,
Yeah,
no,
he
he's the sexy
plays-
stud. I mean,
He's the sexy stud. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're all in jail together, and they're like, you can't get arrested. He's like, you can't get arrested for having sex with an animal. Just a bunch of dirty looks from conservative asswipes who can't appreciate sexual exploration. And then there's this long silence, and then he just goes, "I miss my donkey."
I miss my donkey.
It cracks me up every single time. The way he says it.
what cracks me up is he adds these weird buttons. He's like, "Hey."
I know. He
Yeah,
has
yeah,
like
yeah,
sound
That
effects.
to me is like, where's that? That is so interesting.
That was all Kevin from the circus. So like Zach was just there pretending to hump a donkey, and it's like a tight shot, and Kevin's just like, say hey, and he's like hey, and he's like say it like a higher pitch. Like it's just this weird.
Really?
So that was a direction. Wow,
Yeah,
I
sure.
kind of thought
I
that
love
was.
that.
I almost thought it was. It just seems so offbeat. It would be something that a person would add themselves, but that's interesting.
like,
that was directed.
That's how we would get some of those weird idiosyncratic takes. Is like Kevin would just yell from the circus, like do it slightly differently, and he would keep shaping it almost like a sculptor until it was especially weird, and then he would be like, "Great, we got
Yeah.
it."
And see, it's so interesting to
I
me
love
because
that.
I also feel like Clerks II was the last film that Kevin sort of worked the way he notoriously worked, which was very rehearsed and
Yeah.
and very like a play.
Yeah, right. And he's very strict. Like he's very
Interesting.
strict to the script.
I grew up doing plays, and you're right. Like I never really made that connection, but that's maybe one of the reasons I was so comfortable plugging in with all those guys, because we rehearsed for weeks, and then everything was super on book and memorized, and
Yeah.
I think Kevin developed that style because he came out. Yeah, I mean, as a kid, what do? You do theater first, so that's where you kind of cut your teeth and learn a production style.
Right. And he memorized. I mean, they memorized.
And as he says now, he had back then he had actors that, they only had limited resources, one or two takes.
Yeah.
So you rehearse the hell out of everybody.
That's right. Yeah.
So Clerks II is sort of the last, depart, the stick to the script, O'Donnell, if you will.
It's true, yeah.
But then he loosened up after that. I'd be curious. I got to talk to you after Clerks 3 finally happens, whenever that will be. Although I hear mixed things. I hear there's movement from Brian O'Halloran the other day.
Are you sure he wasn't just talking about poops?
No, he was. He definitely was talking about Clerk. I mean, he said there was so. And we all know that there's stuff going on behind the scenes.
Right. There's nothing you can really say. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But I'd heard that a lot of that crap, even more recently, had sort of cleared cleared away.
Yeah.
It was more hopeful than it had been in months.
Right.
Or years.
I would love that to be the case. I think the script is my personal favorite thing that he's ever written. I think it's really sincerely good. Like, it's so good.
That's the same thing Brian said.
I love to hear it.
That's the same thing Brian said.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I mean, we're big boosters.
We're so excited.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. There's no reason the Elias character can't be in, say, the Mallrats series, because guess what? It's the same freaking universe.
Right.
I'm gonna try to worm my way into whatever.
You totally should.
You guys all should. If he's doing 10-hour-long shows to Mallrats, and he's already said,
I'm gonna just start showing up at his house and be like, "Hey, what's
do
up,
it,
dude?
Why can't
just hanging out?
Why not? You have more opportunity than I do.
People love you. People love you in that movie.
Yeah,
people
dude.
You're special in that movie. It's
why you don't do the con circuit is beyond me. You could. I'm sure you could clean up nicely, or at least
I don't even really know what that means. Like, go to Comic-Con?
Yeah, go to various cons. Like Scott and
Brian O'Halloran
and Brian O'Halloran.
All these guys. That's not my.
I mean,
it's
not everybody's thing. And if that's not your thing, that's fine too.
Yeah.
But I
mean, what's cool is when the video game.
And I get that.
That'll be awesome.
I sort of get exactly why there would be trepidation towards that. Did you?
It's not that I love meeting people. I have the best people that I've the movie was like by far the coolest thing that happened to me as an actor. But because the people that come up to you and congratulate you or whatever are just like by far the friendliest people. So it's not out of fear of like meeting like the mud people or whatever.
Yeah. Is it the fear of like I'm exploiting this?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And you know what? I saw a documentary very recently about. It's sort of like a lot of the extras and background actors and small part actors who were in the original Star Wars.
Oh my God, that's an amazing.
It's a really good. It took me. I didn't even like. Someone tweeted it out or something. It was just like, "Hey Scott, you should check this out."
I have to find the name of it.
And as since I'm making a documentary, I'm constantly watching them. And so someone threw, and it was so good. And that is one of the overwhelming feelings. And like many of the actors talk about, they're having to get over or not being able to get over, and that's why they don't do it anymore. That sort of, they feel like they're exploiting themselves or exploiting that role.
Yeah, I guess I'm also just like, I always resented the, not resented, maybe that's too impetuous a way of putting it, but like, I just kind of want to put my head down and get to work. You know what I mean? Like all the marketing stuff, that's stuff that I was like way all too happy to let somebody else kind of handle. I don't.
Well, you can get companies that do all
that.
You can get companies that do all that. Then you just get the cool part of meeting cool fans.
Yeah. That part I always liked. Like anytime Kevin would I did particularly shortly after the movie came out, I would do a few. Like I remember we did like a movie watch night at one of these places in LA. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've had lots of opportunities to meet a bunch of the Askew Universe fans, and they've, I think, almost without exception, have just been like the nicest people.
They really are.
I'm just glad to hear that you love the character and that you've had a good relationship with it, because there are actors out there who, they play and they're like, I fucking hate that character.
Oh no, it was the part I was born to play.
Yeah, and I love that, and I love the fact that you
no truer words have been spoken.
Yeah, you're you're loved. I know you're loved in this household because that character is just so
funny and so innocent.
It's so real. I know that guy. I've met that kid.
And you play him with such genuine
gravitas.
Gravitas, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to I kind of wanted to make
honest.
Make fun of super sheltered religious people. With, he's a lovable guy.
Yeah, you do it. You do it without vitriol.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Right. That's right. That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, it's very good.
And it was also, I should mention that it was not simple. It was obviously Kevin wrote the character.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
To reiterate, we workshopped it together for a while, and so it's not it's not just my input; it's his as well.
But do you feel like at the end of the day, if you had to step into Elias's boots, you know where to go?
Oh, no problem.
Yeah,
I can do it. He still lives in my heart.
Yes, you have him dialed in.
I know, right?
That's awesome.
And his parents are funny too in that.
Yeah, and they're barely in it too. I was looking at it the other day. I'm like, all they do is whistle.
Yeah. Weird.
All they do is
Very
whistle.
weird.
And they're in this Woody, which is so
like
funny.
A station wagon, right?
Big Woody station, which were so out of fashion
I
too.
know, and they go up to the
get
drive-thru.
just enough detail that you feel like you know how this family operates,
Yeah.
and it's like there's nothing horrible or abusive going on, but yeah, it's
No.
definitely like
It's a little too weird. They're a little too close.
Yeah,
that's right. They go to church camp together, and like that's how that works.
Yeah, maybe Mike Pence is an uncle or something.
Oh,
Ooh, that's an interesting question. Do you think Elias's parents voted for Trump?
Oh, without a doubt.
No.
Yeah,
Without
probably,
a doubt.
right?
Elias voted for Trump.
No.
Oh, you're making me so sad right
Oh,
now.
come on.
I
You
don't
know
think
it.
he
You're his
did.
character. I think he did. Come on.
I don't think
He would do it because he was told to, essentially.
No.
Because he would trust the religious authorities around him.
I don't believe it. I won't accept it.
I won't either. I
You-
can't.
and here's another reason why he would. Here's another reason he'd probably vote for Trump. I don't see Randall voting for Trump.
It's okay if his parents do, but not him.
I absolutely see Randall voting for Trump. If he thought
Really?
that it was
I guess
okay.
he.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a porch monkey
You're
for
probably
life.
right. Oh God. That's right. That
And
was
he would have some speech about how his vote doesn't matter anyway.
that was so fucking brilliant too because
He's bringing it
and even in the scene that you were talking about, you know, the big donkey scene, they even tie the porch monkey for life thing because one of the firefighters is a black guy. And he's like, porch monkey.
It's so funny.
I mean, he totally brings it all back.
Yeah, Randall
Very
doesn't
well
seem
constructed.
like. Yeah, he's. Yeah.
That movie needs more love.
It does. It's a.
And
great
I hear
movie.
people say, well, it's usually much younger. They're like, oh, Clerks II sucks. And I feel like
No.
they haven't seen it.
Listen, Friday there is this Facebook account. It's called Kevin Smith Fans, right? Is that what it's called?
Oh, the world of Kevin
And
Smith.
that's what the topic was. What's your favorite Clerks 2 quote? Oh my God, the thing went on like all day into yesterday, into today.
I
Like
keep
3 days
dropping them all
later,
day.
people are still adding, you know, thing.
Honestly,
You guys
yesterday,
can cornhole that ass
no,
with his wiener.
whenever it was a couple days ago. I was texting Kevin quotes from the movie as they were rolling. I was like, dude, this was so funny.
I know.
This was the most brilliant thing you ever wrote. He never responds, but what the fuck?
Gee, that feels good when he does that.
It's going into the memory hole.
I don't know. I think that you make something and like some people are going to like it and some people
I
aren't going to like it.
know,
That's right.
but when they like it, like there's so many people that absolutely love it.
The reason I love part of it does a trick that so few, especially sequels, do. You don't have to see the first one.
No.
But if you have, it enhances the experience.
Right.
You know, it's so different from the first one that it stands on its own.
It really does.
Even
Yeah.
though it has a 2 name on it. And it's just like so well constructed, like I was saying, like the jokes all come back. You know, everything
Right.
ties up at the end. And it's just, and I often cry at the fucking jail scene when those two guys, like, you know.
It's a good scene.
It's
Yeah.
moving.
wonderful. It's
That's
moving.
really, it's really moving. It's really moving.
So, yeah.
And then again, you know, a tip to the hat to Kevin for the writing.
Yes.
It's an amazing
But
scene.
you should be very proud, sir. I mean, I would be
Yeah.
proud if I were your shoes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
we've
appreciate the
enjoyed it. Thank you for your laughs, and you're just the best in it.
Yes.
Yeah, thank
So-
you so much for the invite. It's been
Yeah.
a great pleasure to talk to both of you.
Now
we'll have
can-
to have you back on when the game comes out.
Yes, that was going to be my thing. Like I am.
Absolutely.
excited.
So we can throw rocks and garbage at you if it's bad, or we can suck your dick some more if it's good.
I think he likes the second one better.
Yeah, no one likes rocks and garbage.
Yeah, given the choice, I guess.
Yeah.
Between getting pelted with rocks and a blowjob.
Yeah, it does
wow,
sound
that's-
nice.
that's- yeah, when you put it in those
Yes.
very harsh, very
Very obvious
yes,
words.
yeah.
Yes.
Ooh. I like dick sucking better, you know, but when you say blowjob, turns the whole thing. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, guys.
Great.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Trevor.
And there you have Mr. Trevor Fehrman.
Oh, isn't that great?
It was amazing. Well, that was so freaking awesome.
I know, wasn't it?
What
I'm
a cool
starstruck.
guy. And we were just chatting. You can even hear it. We're just we're just conversifying.
Yeah.
After a while.
Yeah, you guys were like totally getting into like
Yeah,
video game nerd into some.
And
sort
he's
of
even at
tunnel.
one point, he's like, I feel so bad for Jean.
No,
She's
no,
doing-"
no. I'm fine. You guys were just going into
Yeah.
some like tunnel of nerddom that I just didn't get there.
Yeah. Well, once we started talking about tabletop RPG games,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, wait, no, wait, I like those."
No, I totally get that. It's just I'm very like on, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
when we were
that's not your-
talking
that's
about,
not your thing.
yeah, when we were talking about
You-
South Park. That's what I
You
like.
appreciate that stuff, but only insofar as
I do.
Hey, your husband's into that,
And I will
that
admit,
stupid shit.
I do often will lay there and watch you play. Now I like the story.
You're talking video games.
Yes, there's one
But
particular
we're talking
one.
about like nerdy RPG games.
Yes, and there is one particular one when they whistle, and the one with the whistle and the dog that I can't remember the name of it, and then they go up, and he has like a prostitute in the bed and all that, which is really
What?
Yeah, when he whistles and he stops and talks to the townspeople.
Are you talking about? Oh, are you talking about The Witcher?
No. That's the one that I like. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh,
though.
wait a minute. You're talking about Fable.
Yes, that's the one I like.
Fable 2.
I like Fable 2.
Fable 2 and Fable 3.
It's just funny. And then they like
Yeah,
pass.
I haven't played those games in forever.
I love that. And they like pass gas and stuff.
Okay, well, hey.
Those
you
are the
know.
ones I thought
They're-
were fun.
That was an interesting game.
They were fun
but-
because it was like, I don't know.
If I got into the elements of where Fable suffered, you would be like, I don't give a shit.
I kind of enjoyed that. But anyway, that's what
because
I
you
enjoyed.
didn't actually play. And I liked Fable, but it had some shortcomings.
Right. It was cute. Anyway, that's the one I liked. But anyway, so.
And
but
you could
Trevor,
fart and stuff and make chicken noises. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very basic.
Gotcha. Basic. What's that all about?
What's a boot? What's basic a boot?
You're so basic.
You're so basic.
Oh, my God. You know what stinks most of all?
What?
That I was not ready. I'm still not ready to give you a...
And sorry, not sorry.
Oh, yes.
Confetti fingers.
Confetti fingers.
What's going on? Any announcements? Anything? Oh, shoot. We want to thank everyone who jumped on to our new second podcast show called Tales from the Swing. You can check that out over at talesfromtheswing.com. It's a fun and funny take on the world of open relationships, polyamory, and the like, and the swing thing. So
Swing is very lightly.
Yeah. It's funny because on the 0 episode, we announced that we knew who our guest was.
Mm-hmm.
And while that guest is still in the hopper, they will not be our first guest.
In the hopper.
They're in the hopper. In the hopper. And the reason I want to make that correction, because I'm not sure that, because I said, our next guest is bisexual and in an open relationship.
Right.
But I wasn't so sure if this next guest is bisexual. We could find out more
We will
because we
find
had to
out.
switch out our guest, our first guest, our inaugural guest.
Now there's
none other than the amazing comedian Mike Kaplan.
I know.
Yes, we're very, very happy to announce that.
Yeah.
So check that out. That will drop actually later this week.
Yeah. And a side of him you may not know.
Yeah.
An interesting anecdote.
Yes, his open side, if you
Yeah.
will.
I like it. I like that people are cool about talking about this stuff.
Yeah, and we're really
really
we're
excited.
digging the reception that
Yeah.
we've gotten, the feedback and
Right.
and yeah.
And thanks for your support and sharing about it.
Yeah, and please.
Yeah, if you know
we
anybody.
got a bunch of emails, so keep them coming.
Right.
And over there, like, we need audience participation. We
Right.
need those questions, comments, blah blah blah. And that on that show, it's Tales at talesfromtheswing.com.
Yeah. So if you have questions, like
Comments,
concerns, you're like worried, or you're not sure about
you
something,
wanted,
Yeah.
dating advice, whatever.
Yeah. Or just like a situation that you had that you just want to share about.
Yeah. Or if you
Yeah.
had a really intense, experience.
Yeah, what you like, what you don't like, anything.
Yeah.
We're open to it all.
Yes. Don't worry. We'll weed through it and
Just
find the
nothing
good
mean.
stuff.
No mean. No mean.
Well, if they send anything mean, we'll just
Yep, you're gone.
delete.
We don't do mean.
Yeah. Mean people suck.
They do.
You know what they say too. Goddamn, why can't I have it more cute?
What do they say?
God darn it, why can't I have your man all set up and ready to go?
They say so many things. Those they people.
The only the problem is I don't, or maybe I do. Maybe I do and I don't know it. Say this sucks. Where did I stick this dude? Oh, that's where.
Haters have got to hate, like the douches have to douche.
Listen, and all you douches can douche somewhere else.
People can be goddamn mean, you know.
I love you, Guy LaPointe. Oh my God, Kevin.
I watched that again last night.
I know. That's crazy.
The good thing about Yoga Hosers is it's so damn digestible. It's another one of those, like, it's not heavy. Tusk?
Oh, that's a heavy movie.
While it definitely has a lot of humor to it, it's a heavier film.
It really is. I cried.
We won't even talk about that.
Yeah.
We won't even address that.
Listen.
You crying at the part that really was a joke button. It was literally a button joke.
The only funny part in that scene was when they brought the fish.
Yeah.
That was the only funny part.
But okay, stop for a moment and think. He's a human being who's just been dressed up as a wall. Why would they physically put him in a zoo? Why wouldn't they put him in a sanitarium?
I wasn't thinking about that. All I could see was his face in the suit and how he was totally
Spoilers,
tortured.
by the way. Sorry.
Sorry. Tortured, and this is his life, and he's seeing how his friends are moving on, and he's trapped in this body that he can't get out of, and it was so sad because how alone he must have felt.
My name is Guy LaPointe.
That's why I cried.
There you go. Well, I was watching it again today, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, Guy LaPointe's amazing, and Johnny Depp, you rock. So, and his daughter in Yoga Hosers,
huh?
And his ex-wife was in Yoga Hosers too.
Yeah. Well, her mom.
Her mom.
Yeah, she's the teacher.
Yeah.
Who has the French accent.
Yes.
Because we're like, who's she?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was late to that game, I guess.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
And you could tell by my tone that I'm trying to find something that I'm not really. I was trying to find.
The juggernaut of a podcast.
Oh yeah, that was from Tusk.
Yeah,
that's cute.
Hey, don't say. Anyone who's paying attention, if you're not fast forwarding through the intros, you're missing stuff. I mean, if you are fast forwarding through the intros, you might be missing stuff.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Yoga Hosers is a type of movie that you can just throw on and just have on because it's so light.
Yoga Hosers, Mallrats.
Yeah.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
And the fucking guy from Veep is so funny.
Yeah, those three. Those are like the ones. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're all good. They're all funny, and you could just throw them on.
Yeah.
Dogma too, but Dogma does have a lot of that religious stuff, and so to some people, it could be a little off-putting.
I like Dogma a lot. I don't know if that's something I would throw on.
You know what's amazing? Most British people, most of our UK fans were probably introduced to Kevin through Dogma, because, and I remember Ben told us this. If you go back in our archives,
Ben Gummery,
there was like a big push for that movie in the UK at the time because of some sort of marketing deal.
Yeah,
and some sort of local. I can't remember what it was now, but some sort of local entity was involved.
Yeah.
In the UK, and as a result, that was a much bigger movie for Kevin in the UK.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in the UK discovered Kevin through Dogma.
Right.
Which is why you heard that through, like,
oh my God,
talking to, the various folks from shooting Clerks and everything. You heard Dogma a lot.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It definitely, there's some amazing performances in that movie.
Yeah.
Like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are amazing.
You know what I would, if I could do one thing to that movie, and I know it makes no sense because timing-wise, but I would, if I could, I would take Becky.
I know.
What's her name?
Fiorentino. I say her name wrong all the time.
No. Well, yeah, her. I would replace
her
with
the girl from Clerks II.
With the girl from Clerks,
Rosario
Dawson, the night nurse herself.
Yeah,
because she's amazing, and I just think
right.
that had you given her that material, she would have knocked it out.
Wasn't it supposed to be Janine Garofalo?
No, it was supposed to be. What's her name from Clerks? From fucking
Chasing Amy.
Yeah.
Joey Lawrence Adams.
Yes.
Yeah, she would have been
Joey
good.
Lawrence Adams.
Yeah, she would.
And yes, I agree. She would have knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, she definitely has a way. Yeah.
I regret asking Kevin about that. I still regret asking Kevin about it, but I still feel that way.
No, but I think it was like an uncomfortable thing to ask him.
Yeah, I shouldn't have.
I know. It was.
You live and learn. You live and learn.
You live and learn. But I think he got it, and he gets shit like that. And I think the big picture is that you like most of it. It's just that one thing kind of.
Yeah.
But
there was no need to go.
And you weren't the only one that said it, so
yeah. Well,
it is what it is. And
if I could undo another thing, that's
I know, sir. We love the movie. Sorry about that. Sorry, boot that.
Sorry, boot that.
Sorry, boot that.
Do I not have that?
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry. And sorry, not sorry.
Confetti fingers. All I think is jazz
you
hands.
Keep the confetti fingers in there.
Confetti fingers. And what's sadder is a dog on a little cart.
Yes, I am that man.
All right. Well, this is a good time to insert Miss Tesdy Groupie in her pick of the week because she is back.
And she's so much smarter than us.
Yes, that's true. All right, here she is, Miss Tesdy Groupie, in her this week's pick of the week.
Love you, Tesdy Groupie.
ThatMan on Fatman presents At Tesdy Groupies. Tell 'em Steve Dave. Pick of the week.
Hi, and welcome to the TSD Pick of the Week. It's been a long week in the States, and I thought this could be a good moment to talk about other ants like me, the international ones. I may feel a little alone as an Spanish ant, but since the beginning, TSD has had a very big following from different countries, and not only from English-speaking ones, as we recently heard about Sweden being the 6th biggest listenership. And there have been stories about other countries, from the Chilean miners to the Spanish basketball team. Hey, I had to do it. But let's focus on an episode full of foreign stories. Stories turned into one of Walt's games. Who can ask for more? So let's not wait anymore, and let's go to this week's pick. TSD 67, The Horse Walkerer. The episode starts with Walt's idea for a perfect Father's Day versus what he really did. Walt's song is brought up after the lyrics were read on Per Diem, where listeners were challenged to write music for them, and some of the versions can already be heard. The guys talk more about the announced new show on soon, which will be called TSD Overkill. Walt had banked 2 games for an emergency, and the guys choose to play I Fought the Law, and the Law won World Edition, where the guys have to find the false law. And they get to choose from a UK law about things pregnant women can do, a French law about dolls and aliens, a Finnish law about marriage requirements, and a Danish law about horses during mating season. After the game, Walt reiterates his desire to never leave Jersey. Love with other countries are part of the podcast, as it shows how Tell 'em Steve Dave gets worldwide love. So, I hope you re-listen to it, I hope you enjoy it, and yo-ho all the way.
And there you have Miss Tesdy Groupie's Pick of the Week. For episode 3-33, all these threes, odd, super odd.
We are super odd.
Yes. Season 3, episode 33, bitch. And that means only a few more till we get... See, the cool thing about doing seasons is every year we get another 37, as long as we make it there.
Oh, cool.
So we're on our way. We're on fast track now to 37. with 33 in the bank. I don't know if we're going to make 50 shows in this year, though, because we just took that long break. Oh, shit. What was that? No. Anyway, knocked the glass over.
Yeah, so I don't know if we'll make that.
But, as long as we make 37, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But we'll make more than that. I think
we'll definitely make into the 40s.
Clock in the 40 or something.
Yeah.
Plus, I have already talked to Michael Joseph, Consul Magno. I know we'll have a little Christmas show.
Yeah.
Maybe
it'll...
Because for me, folks, I'm not a big Christmas guy. Christmas over the years has become more and more depressing.
Yeah.
But what I noticed last year was the most fun Christmas I've had in years, and not because of Christmas, but because of Star Wars. And this year, Rogue One.
I know. When does that come out?
Next month. I think the 16th.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, you can order tickets now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So
that might even be a fun Christmas Day movie for people that like to do that.
Last year, the Christmas special was, Joseph and I talking about episode 7.
Oh, yes.
Which we loved. And so this year we're gonna try and make it a tradition. As long as there's these damn Star Wars movies.
Cool.
It's gonna be Star Wars Christmas. Scott and Michael Joseph Consul Magno.
Very cool.
And Gene, of course. And I'd like to get Michael in too. Mike Sarzano, because I don't want him to feel like he's left out.
Yeah, I like him too.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's good people.
He's good people.
But he's married now, and whoosh, from what I hear,
he's married. No, he's not. Whoosh. And I want to get April in too.
Oh yeah, and I was thinking, well, probably for the holiday show that would be a nice.
I'm sending a message out to April. April, it was so awesome meeting you at the Clerks premiere, shooting Clerks, and we definitely want to get you on to talk about Clerks.
Yeah, and here's the reason why we made the discovery while Michael's wife was watching shooting Clerks that she had not seen Clerks.
Yeah.
So he's going to show it to her, and then we're going to get a review of someone who's so fresh, pure as paint.
Yeah.
To the movie Clerks.
Yes, and very sweet.
Yeah, I almost want to fucking see if we can record her while listening to it.
I know, right?
Or while watching it. Yeah. But maybe we'll say, hey, run a camera on her. Michael, run a camera on her while she watches
Michael
it.
Joseph Consul Magno. Yes. April Joseph Consul Magno.
Yeah. Well,
it's not Joseph.
Yeah, it won't be Joseph. It might be Joanne. That'd be too weird.
But it was a pleasure meeting, and we can't wait to have you on, because it sounds like fun. Because never do you don't often hear someone watching this shoot, like the biopic before the original movie. So now we get to kind of hear about that.
Any other shout outs that we should shout out before wrapping this thing up and getting out of here?
Not really.
Let's see.
Our LA friends, Marin and Big Daddy Jimmy V.
Yeah, we flooded this thing out saying that we're forming a transitional team to move out west. But the truth is that our daughter is still in high school, so we have 2 years. But he who fails to plan plans to fail.
Planning is very important.
So,
in this,
and who knows? Maybe things could change.
Yeah,
you never know what the future has in store in the next 2 years.
I think Jersey might be in transition too.
But I would love to go out to California and live there. It'd be nice. So we'll see. And so we're putting together our investigatory transitional team for that project.
Oh, God.
So shout out to Big Daddy Jimmy V, who also is now on, who made the IMDb page.
He did. The producer.
Yeah. There's other stuff made it into the IMDb page. Finally, some production photos and some other new names. A thank you to the gentleman from Zoom and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So check out the IMDb
page for
What's a
Podcast?
Yeah.
The documentary film.
Thank you.
That we're working on the side.
On the side?
Yes.
It's just a side project we've been working on.
For the past year.
And it's wonderful.
Yes, and it's entirely too much.
It's a lot of work, guys.
It's a lot of data that I have to figure out how to transfer around to various people, but that's our latest stumbling block. We need to buy another drive. Anyway,
it's so exciting.
Well, folks, we hope you have enjoyed this show. We know we did. Please come back next week for episode 3-34.
Yeah.
Where we don't know who we'll have on yet, but I'm sure it'll be someone great. Anyway. Yeah.
Enjoy your Thanksgiving, everyone.
Oh, yeah. Have a happy Thanksgiving. This is
Enjoy
Thanksgiving Day week. So
enjoy your stuffing and your turkey.
Try not to fight too much with Trump supporters.
I know. And you know what?
Thank you to Hamilton, real quick.
Thank you for Hamilton.
Thank you to Hamilton and the cast of Hamilton for
that beautiful, beautiful way of just expressing our concerns.
Yeah, and the more I see Pence, the more I think to myself, I think I've known guys like him. And if you want to know who that guy really is, I'd be really curious to see his porn list. To get his porn download list. Because I have a feeling it's a little sketchy.
I wonder if that's
That's how you can tell. You want to find out who a person really is? Show me your porn.
What if they don't have any porn?
They're full of shit. They're hiding.
You think everybody has porn?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe your most sexually repressed psychos
don't.
But they could use like the Sears catalog and shit. They have things they use in a masturbatory fashion.
Yeah, but I've looked at the Victoria's Secret catalog.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So they find things to corrupt. Nobody doesn't.
I see what you mean.
You know what I mean?
See what you
like,
mean.
It might not be true porn.
That's a good way of finding out the real, like what someone's really about.
Yeah, I think also I think all politicians should have to release their porn should have to release their porn downloads, their porn surfing history.
Fuck their tax return.
Yeah, you can tell a lot more about a person from their porn than you can about their fucking tax returns.
Like
and
what
shit.
they like, how they treat people,
all their secrets.
All their secrets.
Yeah, like what? I'm secretly into tranny porn and bondage. Oh.
Wow, it's not so secret anymore.
Yeah.
And what's so bad about it?
Yeah.
You're not hurting anybody.
And I didn't mean any offense by the word tranny.
God, no.
Respect.
Yeah, tranny. That's a word. Recently,
I pointed out. Here's the way. This is the best way to put it. Transgender are people. Transsexual is a porn category.
Yeah, and I think tranny.
And tranny is just a shortened version.
Yeah, and I don't.
They were even talking about this on Keith and the Girl not too long ago.
Yeah, tranny. I think
to which this brilliant, he's gay and he's a drag queen comedian said.
Right.
He was talking about how LGBTQ it seems to be getting longer and longer.
Yeah.
They keep adding,
Right.
and then they were like, he's like asexual. Why do we get them?
Yeah.
Do we really need them?
But why is that even a thing? Now, listen.
I thought that was brilliant.
Actually, I take that back. I'm sorry I said that. It is a thing. There's a new thing now that is men, straight men and gay men who hang out. There's a name for that now.
Whatever.
They're just friends.
Isn't that our brother-in-law?
Like bromance or...
Isn't that our brother-in-law? Isn't his best friend a gay man?
No, it's something like that. Like something to that
How
effect.
about friends? That's fucking stupid.
But they're putting a label
you
on
can't be friends with someone. That bothers me because that implies that straight people and gay people can't be friends.
Yeah.
So they need a fucking label?
They have to have a label to it. Yeah. And
that's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's stupid. I mean,
Yeah.
Not every guy I know I want to sleep with.
No, absolutely not. But I think that's what people like. As soon as you say you're LGBTQ and to a straight person,
they don't fucking get anything. Well, you know what? You want to hear more about stuff like this?
Yeah.
Tune into our new show.
Right.
We're going to put this down. I'm going to put the kibosh, stick a pin in it, go over to Tales from the Swing to hear more interesting discussions about sex and human sexuality.
Yeah.
So
it's
a plug for our other show.
And even if you just want to find out about it, just listen. It's fun.
Yeah. The 0-episode show is out. That essentially tells you what you're in for.
Right.
The first episode of the show will drop later this week.
Right. And Mike Kaplan will be our guest, just to remind you. And he's funny and awesome, and you'll find something new about him. Find out something new. I'm excited to hear about it.
I'm excited to finally start exercising this material, if you will. Exploring this world.
Right.
With an eye towards humor.
I'm excited to share it with everyone because I think it's something...
It can be good for you, too. It's educational.
Very therapeutic.
Oh, yeah.
I like talking about it because, you know what? People need to be educated on different things.
Yeah, they think a lot of crazy things. They think it's abnormal. They think it's...
yeah.
Like you live a porn lifestyle.
Yeah, that you're like a bad person.
Yeah,
I don't know. But we just want you guys to come to your own
So
ideas.
just check
So
it
just
out.
listen to it. It doesn't
Who
hurt.
knows? Maybe it's for you.
Maybe you'll like it.
And your spouse,
Yeah.
significant other.
Maybe
or
you listen to
otherwise.
it together.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Talk more.
Communicate.
Open things up. Who knows?
So Tales
from the Swing.
At Tales
so
from the Swing.
We're going to try not to do this too much, folks.
No.
But, you know, it is
We're
a
just
new
excited
show.
about it.
Yeah, we don't want to over-promote. And,
No.
oh, if I go there, I just hear about the other show. No.
So enough of that. You're smart and you're good. No, just
Yeah,
kidding.
get the fuck out of here. Go listen to our other show. Fuck you. Give us money.
Leave me a kid. Leave me alone, kid. You bother me.
Yeah. All right, folks. We truly enjoy all the support to folks like who's Dank Delivery and
my God, Dank Delivery.
Big Daddy Jimmy V and all
And
our
Smod Squatter, our guy.
Yeah, all these folks out there who have been supportive.
Right. And Ezekiel.
The Three
Ezekiel,
Geeks,
right.
the Three Geeks podcast. They've been very nice and supportive.
Mm-hmm. Our friend Ezekiel, I was thinking about him too. I hope you're doing all right, dude.
Yeah. All right, guys, and of course, you know, I haven't seen or haven't chatted with in a while.
Who?
Our buddy, the Anderson Council.
Oh, how is the Anderson Council?
I don't know. We're going to have to check up on him.
And Midnight Smoke's doing good.
Yeah, well, he's
out
always,
there.
they're crazy. And
Yeah.
Mr. BS show and all that
The
shit.
Mr. BS show.
Yeah, and he's actually was on Big Daddy Jimmy V has his new show.
Delete Before Listening.
Yes, and he was a guest there recently as well.
Yeah. Ralph Garman just celebrated a birthday too.
Yes.
The same day as mine.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Happy
I
birthday
forgot.
to both Gene and to Ralph Garman.
And sir, I'm sorry. I was so wrapped up in myself that day. I forgot to wish you a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Ralph Garman.
Yes, happy birthday to Ralph Garman.
So
and
it must
to
have
my
been
wonderful wife, Jean.
Thank you. It must have been a fun
He's
Babylon.
now 23 years young.
I know. 29.
Yes.
But yeah.
There you go.
That I can't pass for 29 anymore. That's a joke. I am 46.
There you go.
And going strong.
And RTF.
I
And
love-
DTF.
Yes. But that's the other
we
show.
said that was like a total joke the
So,
other day.
listen.
On her birthday, she's like, I'm 46 and DTF.
That's, well, that part
You
was
were-
added.
you were kidding. You were kidding.
So if you want to hear more about that, go to @Tales of the Swing on Twitter.
All right. All right, folks. You guys are smart and good, and we will see you next week.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, enjoy your turkey.
Yeah, and each other.
Stuffing.
And each other.
And speaking of stuffing, remember, Tales from the Swing.
God almighty.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye,
See you next
guys.
week. Smart and good.
Lying on the barren floor and staring out in space, looking for an angel smile and praying for some faith. Thoughts are drifting through my mind and filling it with fear. Is there something else out there, and just why are we here? Then I see the world will turn and we must be its guide. Crazy dreams and nonsense schemes gone comes we must reply. Powers from our mother earth, they'll blow us to our knees. While our souls do bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. Reading moments one by one and smirking like a thief. Sleeping through another night and deepening our peace. Genesis in matter's wake is coming from our sun. Living in this very moment, for this moment's done. sins as we worship at our shrine. Bursting flowers into bloom, there's no such thing as time. Powers from our Mother Earth will blow us to our knees. Twisting, turning, minds are burning, join us if you please. And now I see that I am just beginning its demise. Flashing bits of comic light that vanish from the skies. Powers from our Mother Earth is all we'll ever be. All our souls combined as one. Come join us if you please. If you please. If you please. If you please.
There he is. It's that man standing over Blood Alley Square, protecting us all.
The juggernaut of a podcast.
Go get him, that man.